on this Monday, January 13th, 2025. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well, and yes, still workshopping through the intro. It doesn't quite...
That's what caused the difference, you know.
What did?
Because you went so quickly, and I had the music up loud enough, expecting you to carry the note out earlier when you were like, is this louder? It was you. You weren't loud enough.
So wait, what you're telling me is you just referenced something, that's what caused the difference, that we did during the rehearsal that literally 6 people listened to and not the thousands upon thousands tuning in live. Is that what you're saying?
Damn,
that is the... You know we're live right now.
I screwed this up.
Okay, I'm just saying, usually the stuff, is just... Not to say that was off the record, but literally no one knows what you're talking about other than me and the 5 people in the control room. In any event, we're working through it. We're workshopping. Thumbs up to the chat. I haven't said that in a while. Hello, everyone. Other than Frank screwing that up, I'm in a tremendous mood on this beautiful yet frigid Monday morning in New York City. It's actually Monday afternoon, and it's a victory Monday because your Buffalo Bills are moving on to the divisional round. Big win yesterday over Chuck's Denver Broncos. Commiserations, Chuck. We love you. Thank you. We welcome you on the bandwagon towards the Super Bowl in February in New Orleans. And we also welcome, and this really was the highlight of my weekend in many respects, the legend, Big Daddy Mark, who dropped his video, his version of the Shout song, which we cannot play because we don't want to get demonetized. But he dropped this. You know this guy? This guy's a legend. He's the one who does the time to play the game. He did his version of the Shout song. Buffalo's done now. They're on the move now. The Bills are happening now. They're really happening now. We got the spirit. A lot of spirit, yeah. How could you hate a team whose theme song is that? That's our theme song. How can you hate that squad? Look at that shot right there. Massive win by your Buffalo Bills. On to the Ravens. Squeaky bum time. Very nervous, but it's okay. I hope everyone who tunes into this program is jumping aboard the bandwagon. Great week end for me and the Bills, my boys. We went to a Knicks game on Friday. They got whooped. But then the Knicks won yesterday, so that was good. And overall, the vibes are high. We got to shoot a couple free throws on the court. One son made it. The other son hit nothing, air ball. But, them's the breaks. Those are life lessons. So we're feeling good, my friends. We're feeling good. And as I mentioned on X, there it is. Yes, Bills and Knicks win. Walter drains a deep 3. That is true. Walter, my middle son, who got the air ball. So there you have it. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat plays in his first organized basketball game yesterday afternoon and drains a logo 3. I mean, to say that I was proud would be the understatement of the century. So it's a great time to be alive. I mentioned on Twitter /X, I still can't quite say X, but I mentioned it over there that I've got some breaking news at the top of today's program. And if we're being honest, there's a ton of news happening on this Monday afternoon. So sit back and relax. We've got a great show planned for all of you. As always, we are presented by our good friends over at NordVPN. We love NordVPN. We're happy to partner with them. We're proud. We're honored. Delighted, thrilled that they're a part of our family. Why use NordVPN? It's the fastest VPN in the world. No buffering or lagging while streaming and stops your ISP from throttling your bandwidth. NordVPN protects your private information like bank details, passwords, and online identity, including while you're traveling and using public Wi-Fi. Plus, one NordVPN account can be used on up to 10 devices. It's premium cybersecurity for the price of a cup of coffee, per month. To get the best discount off your NordVPN, go to nordvpn.com/uncrowned. That's nordvpn.com/uncrowned. Our link will also give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. We love NordVPN. We adore these people. Great service. I use them all the time. Please support them because they support us. Back into the show. We're going to be joined in studio, my friends, by the Death King match. Wait. Death King match?
Death Match King.
Death Match King. I knew that didn't sound right. Thank you, Rick. The Death Match King. The indie god. The complete. The agent. Formerly known as Zack Ryder. The Death Match King himself, who returns to action at GCW this Sunday, January 19th, the one and only Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder, in studio. Woo, woo, woo. The broski himself. Can't wait to have him on. He's a fascinating guy with a great podcast that focuses on collectibles, toys in particular. You know I love my toys, and in particular wrestling toys. I have a long, long, long history and a somewhat heartbreaking history with wrestling toys. More on that in our chat, but I'm looking forward to him. He's been killing it since leaving the WWE in 2020. A great, great character, and kind enough to fly in from Maine to join us live at 3 o'clock on today's program. At 2:30, one of our favorites, the legend Dominick Cruz, going to be joining us to preview what is shaping up to be his retirement fight on the 22nd of February. What a day that's turning out to be in combat sports. The UFC returning to Seattle, and of course the massive boxing card over in Riyadh, which they're having a press conference about right now in London. Speaking of which, Shakur Stevenson, who is a part of that press conference and is in London, was at the Ring Awards on Saturday. He's got a big fight coming up, his first under the Riyadh season / Matchroom umbrella. He'll be fighting Kid Austin. Big fight for him. Massive fight for Kid Austin. Massive fight for one Shakur Stevenson. Austin Schofield is a big-time prospect. Biting off perhaps a little more than he could chew against Shakur Stevenson. Shakur looking to get back on track as well. Did I say, I'm all out of sorts. Did I say Kid Austin? Schofield? Floyd Schofield. Kid Austin is his nickname. You get the point. Anyway, and at around 140-ish, we're going to be joined by Cesar Almeida, who had, well, I think it's the front runner right now for Knockout of the Year, would you guys say? I think so. One UFC event in the books. It has come and gone at the Apex this past Saturday night. Mackenzie Dern defeating Amanda Ribas, avenging her loss that happened back in 2019 with a brilliant armbar submission. Some nice results on the card, a nice sort of appetizer to get us into UFC 311, which as of right now is still scheduled for the Intuit Dome. And I would be very surprised at this juncture, unless things get worse, and there has been some reports that, things potentially could get troublesome once again in Southern California with the wildfires and the wind. We hope that's not the case. I did see the report yesterday that the Clippers and Lakers are going to resume their schedule back home after having to postpone their games on Saturday. Obviously, tonight's playoff game between the Rams and Vikings had to be moved to Arizona, but we are still 5 days away now, and obviously a decision had to be made. The UFC has talked about it. Obviously, they're doing their due diligence, but I think it would have been a big surprise if they moved it right now. Dana doesn't like to do those sorts of things, and everyone seems to think that it's going to remain. Let's see, let's hope, and most importantly, our love and our souls and our heart goes out to the families and the residents that have been affected. Unfathomable destruction. Hard to witness, hard to look at, hard to process. Can't imagine what they're going through. So much love to them, and of course, much love to all the first responders, the firefighters who have been working what appears to be 24 hours a day to contain these fires, save lives, save property. Just a horrible thing to witness. So much love to Los Angeles. All right, so that's the lineup for today. A lot of news, a lot of things have happened since we last spoke. Personally, last Wednesday, great job by the boys on Thursday, back on track, PT on Friday. A lot of content up on uncrowned.com. We wake up this morning thinking that, all right, the big news in the world of boxing is going to be this press conference coming off the Ring Awards on Saturday, and what a collection of talent at this Ring Awards. Did you guys see this photo with Turki Al-Sheikh in the middle? This is his side gig. This has nothing to do with Riyadh season. He buys the historic Ring magazine and then puts on these Ring magazine awards, which, if you didn't know any better, looked like the Golden Globes. It was an unbelievable venue, an unbelievable collection of superstars. I mean, just look at it. Usyk's over there, Dubois over there, AJ's over there, Eddie's there, Frank is there, Canelo is there, Roberto Duran is there, Shakur Stevenson is there. I can't, it's so far. Zhilei Zhang I see. And then, of course, top right is the best, Teofimo Lopez. Look at Teofimo. Ricky Hatton's over there. Lennox Lewis is over there. Devin Haney in the middle. Joseph Parker. Teddy Atlas. A who's who. Literally a who's who. And they put on an unbelievable event. And so thought that would be the news. Press conference would be the news. But there's Tyson Fury when it seems as though we are getting closer and closer and closer to finally having Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. And a fight, to be honest, that, yes, it's coming a few years too late, but would still be gigantic and probably, and this may be a hot take, probably would garner more worldwide interest and excitement than Fury Usyk. And I know that's crazy because it was for undisputed gold, but these two have been such giants for so long, and people who maybe aren't paying attention each and every fight, each and every day would be like, oh my God, it's AJ and Fury, the faces of the heavyweight division for the past decade and the faces of British boxing for the past decade plus, finally fighting. It seemed like all the talk, everything AJ was saying, the social media, we were actually going to get it at some point, maybe even as soon as the spring. All of a sudden, this morning, we get this video from Tyson Fury.
Hi everybody, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'd like to announce my retirement from boxing. It's been a blast. I've loved every single minute of it, and I'm going to end with this. Dick Turpin wore a mask. God bless everybody. See you on the other side. Get up!
So officially, that would be the fourth time that Tyson Fury has announced his retirement. He did take one extended break as well. A lot of talk as to whether or not we believe him. Cap, no cap, as the kids like to say. Literally seconds after the video came out, Eddie Hearn reacted to it on the Matchroom socials. This is what he had to say.
Eddie, just give us your immediate reaction. Tyson Fury announcing his retirement on Instagram this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you haven't got a heart for it anymore and you don't want to compete anymore, I think retirement is the best option. Disappointing, obviously, for British fight fans because we've got a chance to make the biggest fight in boxing, but you know, if that is the last we see of him, he's had a great career. I doubt it. But, you know, it's always best to come into retirement to make sure someone pays you to come out of retirement. But if that's his lot, much respect to him and wish him all the best.
When you say you doubt it, tell us what you mean by
I
that.
just think if I was looking for the right deal, I'd go into retirement too. But I can't speak on his behalf. That's just what I would, you know. I think it's a natural play. But maybe that's his lot. I don't know. I don't know him well enough to comment, really. I mean, he's the man to make his own decisions. And like I said, it's not the kind of sport that you want to play in if your heart's not in it anymore. And if his heart's not in it anymore, it's the right decision for him. Hopefully, it's not the case and we get to see the AJ fight. But if not, wish him all the best.
If that is the last we see of...
In other words, Eddie is saying... Cap. Eddie's calling Cap. Eddie, nice glasses. Love the scarf as well. Looking extremely dapper. But he's saying, I think Cap. He's calling BS, and I think a lot of people feel the same. It falls on deaf ears. Fourth time. Does anyone believe it? This close to a mega fight. There's literally only one fight left for Tyson Fury. There's one fight left. It's gigantic. He can win that fight. Why are you walking away? He didn't show up to the award show on Saturday. He was supposed to be there. He's had a great relationship with the with the Riyadh season people, with the ring people, with Turkey in particular. And so it feels like negotiation, which people don't really love and has happened before, and he has come back. And in case you're wondering about this Dick Turpin reference, according to Britannica, Dick Turpin was the son of an alehouse keeper. He was apprenticed to a butcher, but having been detected at cattle stealing, he joined a notorious gang of deer stealers and smugglers in Essex. Okay, we continue. A bunch of other people on Twitter saying that it's basically, and actually it was our own, I say our own because it feels like he's one of our own, Andrew Feldman, who did some digging as well. A folklore type of character. He's the infamous 18th century highwayman who was known for robbing travelers while wearing a mask to conceal his identity. So is he saying that they stole from him when they didn't give him the nod in December? Is he saying that he stole from everyone? I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Aren't you I take that as I'm being robbed in broad daylight. At least Dick Turpin wore a mask.
Yeah.
That is the interpretation that I feel is pretty like
It's
he's feeling
possible.
like he's not getting paid enough, or the offer is not enough. You're trying to rob me in broad daylight. At least somebody who then was a highway robber wore a mask when they did their robberies. It's like at least
Potentially.
have the courtesy to blah 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 when you blah blah blah.
Do you believe it?
Do I believe that he's retired?
Yeah,
Oh hell no.
it's crazy.
No, he's negotiating, and that would fit with the narrative that I'm saying. He's just saying this is not enough. When you have a serious offer, when you have the right amount of money that it's going to cost for this fight, come to me.
Why
and
retire? Why not just say it's not enough?
Because it's worked every time he's done it before.
But no one believes it. The people who he's negotiating with don't believe it.
We're
So then how-
talking about it.
Oh, I
The
know we're
internet's
talking about it, but we're
it.
saying it's not true.
Oh no, the people
You have to acknowledge it because it's Tyson
Yeah.
Fury retiring.
No,
But
no, the
no
people
one's
in the
being like,
negotiation, none of them think that he's actually done.
So what's the point?
It drums up the attention. It's perfect. He's got all of us talking about it.
There was a part of me that felt like he wanted to steal a little bit of the attention of this press conference, and he's done just that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "Oh, you want to screw with me? I'm going to put this out on Monday morning, right before your big presser, and no one's going to talk about it."
It's a win-win because he does that, and then on the back end, everybody he's negotiating with knows that he's not leaving. So it's perfect. It works exactly how it's supposed to, and he's always done it in the past successfully.
All right, well, let's see. It seems like big fights are being made. I'd be shocked if that one isn't made. It would be a true travesty if it doesn't get made, and especially in this era where all the big fights are being made, including, it looks like, and everyone's hinting at it, and ESPN is reporting it, Mike Coppinger reporting that they're very close to finally doing Ben Eubank. Every fight under the sun. There isn't a fight right now that doesn't feel like it can be made at this point. Like they're talking Canelo Crawford. Everything's a possibility. And so this one's not going to happen. Come on. When they need it most, and when there's no one else that anyone wants to see them against, I'm just not buying it. So let's see. But something tells me we'll see him come back, and then hopefully we'll see them fight later on this year. Now, as far as the breaking news that I teased, let's get into that. So over the last week or so, there's been all kinds of news regarding the future of the PFL. I have some information regarding the future of the PFL and Bellator. Of course, we know by now that PFL acquired Bellator from Paramount in late 2023. You'll recall we had Don Davis, the founder of the PFL, in studio after the announcement, and he talked all about the big plans for 2024 and beyond. They had the deal with Max, and over the last few weeks, they have this big show in Dubai, this Dubai Champion Series show, headlined by Usman Nurmagomedov defending his Bellator title against Paul Hughes, but all the promotional material has not really focused on Bellator, other than a picture of a belt and maybe the name Bellator lightweight title on the line. That's it. It's not being called a Bellator event. It doesn't look like a Bellator event. And so I started to do some digging. Now, major props to Al Zolino on social media, who sort of broke open the story of changes coming to PFL, had a lot of information regarding the change in the contracts and the payment for the finals winner and all that stuff. And he's done a great job on that story. Does a great job in general as well. So shout out to him. Shout out to Drake Riggs of Uncrowned, who did his own reporting. And I want to read what is out there right now, and I'm going to fill in some of the holes because there's some other stuff that isn't out there right now. And so this is from uncrowned.com, written by Drake Riggs. PFL is making some changes in 2025. The promotion has historically been known for its season tournament format, which rewards each division championship winner with $1 million prize. That's a $1 million prize. You'll recall over the last, 7 or so years, that's always been the big selling point, the pot at the end of the rainbow. Now, I've said, by the way, that no one cares about this, certainly not the viewers, because we are watching multi-millionaires play in the NBA, in Major League Baseball, in the NFL, in Premier League, in boxing, top of the UFC. No one is sitting around saying, hey, let's tune in to this fight because they're winning $1 million. We expect all pro athletes to make $1 million in any event. Uncrowned confirmed with sources Wednesday that the payout for season winners is dropping in half to $500,000 beginning with the upcoming 2025 season in April. The championship $1 million bonus was previously structured to be, for example, and then he goes into the whole breakdown. And so now it's going to be $500,000. Now, There's more. According to sources, PFL is also expected to remove its tournament point system and become more of a traditional Grand Prix style MMA tournament. And so, in the past, it was like, the season, and you get points for your wins and losses and finishes and all that stuff, or no points for a loss. And then maybe for a decision, who knows? It was very convoluted. And then there's the playoffs, and then there's the final. Here's what I could tell you right now, okay? Go read uncrowned.com for more on this, and go on Al's Twitter page. Right now, I could tell you on Monday, January 13th at 1:20 p.m. Eastern Time, Bellator is dead. Bellator, as we know it, is no more. Bellator is dead. You will not see Bellator events anymore. And in fact, if you have looked at Don Davis's social media over the last couple of weeks, he refers to things as all PFL. And if you look at that event on January the 25th, you will see that other than the picture of the belt and other than, in the press release it says Bellator lightweight title, there's no other mention of Bellator. Bellator, as we know it, is dead. From the Bjorn era to the Scott Coker era to the PFLator era, it is no more. And so this is what's going to happen. This is the structure. There are going to be what is being referred to as PFL Champion Series events. Those events are going to be headlined by title fights. PFL is going to start having its own champions, not just season champions, not just tournament champions, its own champion. Now, what is unclear, and I've talked to maybe 5 sources with very intimate knowledge of what is going on, unclear how they will crown those champions. Meaning, does Usman Nurmagomedov become the PFL lightweight champion after January 25th if he beats Paul Hughes, or does Paul Hughes become the PFL lightweight champion, or are the tournament winners from last year the PFL champions? My hunch says, given what they get paid and given how everything is structured, the Bellator champions would then become the PFL champions. And so how they are going to structure it is they're going to have these PFL Champion Series events, which are essentially just cards headlined by champions and filled with other talent throughout, and those will be scattered throughout the year. The PFL season format is no more. What it is now is somewhere in the range of 6 to 8 weight classes being featured, 8 fighters, 2 alternates, single elimination tournament. There's no more standings, there's no more points or anything like that. Single elimination tournament, Grand Prix style, if you will. They're not calling it a Grand Prix. I've heard because that's what Bellator used to call it, and they don't want to call it that. So it'll just be some sort of I think they're calling it like global tournament, global season or something like that. And it'll just be like this guy versus this guy, and you move on to the next. The winner of that tournament, single elimination tournament, gets $500,000. So it's a little bit different than the past. You don't win a belt or anything. You might win some Fakakta belt, but you're not the champion of any sort of division. It's the pot at the end of the rainbow, which is $500,000. Now, interesting to note that this is $500,000 in addition to your purse. In the old days, it wasn't $1 million in addition to your purse. It was your purse subtracted from $1 million. So if you were someone, and most fighters, and different fighters had it structured differently, but some fighters would have it let's say you were someone who made 150 and 150. So it would then be $700,000 that you're winning in the final. And then there were other fighters who had fixed amount, regardless of what they were making for the quarterfinals, semifinals, final, because maybe that would equal more. And so now it's none of that. You just have your contract, and if you win the tournament, you're winning $500,000. What's unclear to me at this time is if you win that, what else do you get? Do you get a shot at the champion? Unclear at this time. That hasn't really been really kind of laid out. But I would imagine that's the whole point of it. You win the pot, and then you become a number 1 contender. That's how you can build number 1 contenders. But again, the stuff that we've sort of criticized them for, regular season points, all that is going by the wayside. In addition to that, they'll still have your PFL Europes and your PFL Middle East, Africa, all that stuff, and that will feed up to these tournaments. But it's no longer being structured as regular season and all that, and Bellator is no more. When this first came out about the $1 million to $500,000, it felt like, oh, this is a sign that they're dead. Now, I'm being told that, like, as far as finances are concerned, they're in a good spot. They have great, solid investment, all that stuff and more. They're not hurting for cash. This is just kind of like a restructuring of how the promotion is laid out. I actually think it makes a ton more sense because hopefully now, I hate that they're calling it Champion Series. Their pay-per-views, super fight series, all that stuff is no more. Just have major events and have tournaments. You don't, not all of this needs to be broken down. Now, what's unclear also is where this January 25th event is going to air. As of right now, they haven't announced. I have been told that it might just air on YouTube, and they might just say, here, we're going to give it to you for free, which in some ways is just like, hey, we don't have a deal done, and so we're going to put it on YouTube. Maybe on Max, maybe on Amazon as well. They're in the mix too. And so there's a lot still in flux. There's a lot still at play. But what I said before regarding the format, that's all accurate. And that could be announced as recently as soon as this week. I actually think it's a win for the promotion because I hated the season. I hated the points. I hated the playoff. I hated all of that stuff. Now you can make the biggest fights for the belts, and then if you're punching your ticket for the tournament, then you're going to go that route, and that's maybe a place where you can try to build new stars. So in other words, a Cedric Doumbé, if you want, you could just put him in a title fight, as opposed to risking putting him in to a tournament. A Paul Hughes, if you want, put him in a title fight, and you don't have to risk him in the tournament. Here's one thing, and a lot of people have criticized Don Davis in particular and PFL, and some of it has been warranted and some maybe not. Here's one thing that doesn't get talked about enough. When Bellator was on its last legs and everyone under the sun knew that it was going to get sold, the old regime, Scott Coker being the head of it, signed a lot of fighters to massive deals knowing that the end was near. And then basically said, like, the new owners, PFL, are going to have to deal with this as a nice little parting gift. There are several fighters, Gegard Mousasi, one of them, a lot of the big names that you've seen openly complain, who got these massive deals that are worth close to $1 million a fight, that it would be unsustainable for PFL to put those guys in tournaments. And this has been the problem. And it just isn't, it isn't cost effective. Sign them to these deals as a parting gift. Why Don Davis does not say this to explain the situation that he was put in, I have no idea. I don't know who's running the show behind the scenes there. Well, I know who's running the show behind the scenes there from a PR perspective. My point is, you are not speaking up. You are not letting people know the truth. And as a result, they're taking information from the disgruntled fighters, from managers, and they're able to paint their own narrative, which isn't a good one in your favor, and you're just standing back and letting everyone slag you off. Why? Tell the truth, come out, do media, explain your position, explain what you inherited, and explain what you acquired, and explain how you're going to fix it. None of these LinkedIn posts, none of these tweets, none of this stuff. You have to come out. What do people love about Dana White? They love that he was a guy who took no shit from anyone, showed up, ripped jeans, t-shirt, guns blazing, and told it like it is, at least from his perspective. And people love that, and they ate it up. Don takes the business investor approach and says, we're gonna do things slowly but surely. We're gonna do things the right way. And look, everyone has their own approach to business. In the fight game, I don't think that's the right approach. Someone talks shit about you, you have to respond. You have to respond, especially when you've been dealt a bad hand. And in large part, they were dealt a bad hand because they got a lot of these contracts that just weren't worth it. Love some of those guys, but in 2025, they are not worth that amount. And so they're making these changes. What are they going to do with those guys? Are they going to offer pay cuts? Are they going to say you could go this route and you could win this pot at the end and that could be you making up the money? That all is a work in progress. Remains to be seen. They've got this event on the 25th. New season starts a couple of, or not new season, like they pick back up. It's going to take a while to change that verbiage in our brain. A couple months later, they've got a big rights deal coming up. And there's a lot in flux. But right now, they're not hurting for cash. They're not 6 feet or 4 feet under. But I think they have recognized that the format doesn't work. The $1 million payout thing didn't work. The season format doesn't work, and they're trying to make changes. And so that's the story as far as PFL and Bellator is concerned. But ding dong, the witch is dead. Bellator, as we know it, I was going to say PFLator, it was all very confusing, is done. There's not going to be any Bellator shows. I've also been told that these plans have changed a gazillion times, and that's why I kind of sat on this for several days. But that feels quite certain at this juncture. Gents, what do you think of this? What do you think of this information? Good for Bellator? Good for PFL? Good for the fighters? Good for everyone involved? Or
yes,
good for Bellator.
Yeah, well, Bellator.
Hard to say.
Not good for Bellator.
Yeah,
good for everyone involved.
I was going to say hard to say if good for Bellator and the fighters, but good for long-term health of the brand. Like, no, there's no secret here. Everybody has been saying they need to just have one roster, combine the things, get rid of the tournament. Like, moving forward, that should create better outcomes for them. Now, what does that mean in terms of like number of fights? We already see Bellator fighters saying I didn't fight enough, and big names, and the biggest names on the PFL roster are unhappy right now, and so that's a big problem. But hopefully, if they can streamline what the actual product is, it would stand to reason that yes, this can be good long term as long as they can provide the fights for these athletes. I don't have a problem with the reduction of the tournament purse. Like you, I thought it was kind of like insignificant in the grander scheme. Like, it is great for those individual athletes, but outside of that, it does not do much for the brand. And so I would even have been in favor of scrapping the prizes altogether and getting rid of the tournament in any, like, it sounds like it's shifting in format. I'd get rid of it all and just have the best fights, the best fight the best. We've heard you fans, Don Davis, to get up there one day and just be like, we heard you fans. You want to see Patchy Mix versus this person? That's what we're going to do. No more tournaments, no more checks at the end. Everybody's getting paid, everybody's fighting, and proceed from there. So there may be some short-term implications and problems, and I don't imagine this is going to be super smooth as it transitions, but long-term, I like this much better.
PT?
Yeah, I think something had to give. They had to change something. Like, pretending that everything was fine. You always reference that meme with the dog sitting in the place on fire. Like, that's what it felt like we were dealing with PFL for the last, say, 3-4 months of 2024. Something has to give. They have to try something new. I would like, as you and Rick both referred to, like a very direct message from PFL to the fan base. I think they've lost a lot of integrity with, particularly the US fan base. So they need to do something. I think the tournament bracket without the point system, and the kind of Champions League knockout stage kind of thing, I like that. I think some of the point system was kind of used as a pun within the community, the quick six, all this kind of stuff. It never caught on. We all understand wins and losses. We all understand moving through a bracket like that. I think that will be better. I do think there is a serious issue with the halving of the tournament purse, not from the consumer's point of view, but from the athlete's point of view. As I said last week, this is why they are getting Dakota Chicheva to sign with the PFL. This is why they're getting Paul Hughes to sign with the PFL. Taking that carrot to dangle away from them, I think will hurt them in terms of signing talent going forward. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, I mean, me and Rick talked last week as soon as they made the cut to the 500,000, and as we were discussing it, Rick made the point of just like, this is just a bad look, but I hope the reason that they're doing this is that they're going to expand elsewhere beyond, or maybe they're just hopefully getting rid of the tournament period. Obviously, they're not doing that, but to see that they are making action, they're trying to make improvements. It feels like they're listening to the fans a little bit. I feel like people have been banging the drum to get rid of Bellator period for a while now since the merger happened. So I think it's good for all involved. It feels like they're trying to make changes, to make improvements to the organization. So we have to see what happens, but I feel like this is a step in the right direction.
So back in December, Don Davis tweeted, these are the start dates for the PFL MMA 2025 year ahead. He called it the PFL Global Season March, PFL Champion Series April, and then PFL Europe, PFL Mideast, PFL Africa. That was the indication in many respects. as to the end of Bellator as we know it. Now, he also mentions 30 events, 320 fights. Okay, we'll see what the breakdown is and all that. But around, I think it was last week, I think it was last Monday, they tweeted that the elbows were going to be allowed for all the events. That was another indication that the tournament format was going away because they needed to get rid of elbows so that you can continue in the season to get to the playoffs. If you had to pull out due to a cut, now it screws everything up because you have standings, right? Like if someone has 6 points and now they're out because of a cut, what happens to that person? Well, now if you can't continue, you can't continue. That's just, and if you're getting cut open, you may be getting cut open in a loss. Maybe. I know Roman Kopylov different on Saturday, but point is, you just have to deal with it. And then if you can't continue, you can't continue. I think it's ultimately, from a fan standpoint, a net positive. I wish they would just get rid of the Global Season Champion Series nonsense. But from a product standpoint, I think it's easier to follow. Essentially, it's what the old Bellator was, like towards the end, where it's just you have champions and then you'll have, in the old days, you had one Grand Prix a year, it seemed. Now you're going to have a lot more. But this, to me, makes a lot more sense than having, the standings and all that. Now, I wish they would take it a step further and get rid of the uniforms and allow fighters to have sponsors. Really make it fun. Be the place where fighters could be like themselves. But I understand, Pete, exactly what you're saying. This was always the great differentiator, especially for someone, all right, a Kayla Harrison, a Dakota, a Paul Hughes. You aren't a UFC cast-off. Maybe the plan is, hey, let me go make a couple of bucks, and then I'll jump over. But now you have to look at it and be like, all right, am I going to go through this tournament just to get 500, or is there a better deal waiting for me in 2-3 fights from the UFC? We'll see. So again, as I said, like for the fighters, it may not be better, may not, but I think for the fans and for us who are just jonesing for a competitor to the UFC, or not even a competitor at this point because the gap has never been bigger, if we're being honest, just someone that can offer something, an AEW to the UFC's WWE, at least this feels a lot more like a regular promotion as opposed to one with a gimmick attached to it.
Yeah, they over-egg the omelet to some extent, Ariel, with all this branding you're referring to. There was just so much, and this fighter belongs to this part of it, and I still think that's a problem to some extent. The various tributaries that come off of PFL, I think. Even when I was reading Drake's article on the show last Friday, I can remember reading through it, and Drake has done a great job, lays it all out there. But as I'm hearing the words come out of my mouth, I'm like, this is so confusing because he's breaking down what champions would get, what this person would get. It's all got a bit lost in the sauce. And I think the beauty of MMA when it first emerged was like, as ridiculous as the selling point is now, 2 guys enter the cage, 1 man leaves. But that's the simplicity of it. That's the brilliance of it. And I just feel like it's got very, very complicated since the merging of Bellator and PFL. But in terms of the tournament prize money, Paul Hughes signs with this promotion last year. I'm going to have 3 fights and then I'm going to go and compete for $1 million in the tournament, was his war cry from the outset. He's obviously got a big fight next week against Usman Nurmagomedov. Either of those guys win that fight, whoever wins, you're going to have to try and convince them to go into this 4 fights in a very short period of time for 500,000. I think that's going to become very difficult. We've already seen Dakota win that money and not feel too excited about competing for it again. We know this is a common thing that happens when people win that $1 million. I think it's about to get a lot more complicated.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. I think the plan, honestly, was to announce a vast majority of this information this week. I think they've hinted at that. So let us see how it all shakes out. But there it is. And a bit of a cloud if they don't figure it out before the 25th, which I think they will. Let's see even how we can watch that, because I think there's a tremendous amount of interest attached to Paul Hughes versus Usman Nurmagomedov, especially as it will come a week after UFC 311, where you have Islam Makhachev and Umar Nurmagomedov. I think there'll be a ton of interest there. So let us see.
A lot of pressure too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. There's the story as far as PFL and Bellator are concerned. As I mentioned, The first UFC event of 2025 has come and gone. That was at the Apex. Mackenzie Dern with a nice win over Amanda Ribas. She wins via submission, avenges a loss that happened back in 2019. She has come a long, long way since then. It was amazing. Like, I think when she fought Ribas in 2019, I think she was like 4 months or so postpartum, something crazy like that, which is just absurd. I mean, like, could you imagine? And there's her beautiful daughter. Love that she came in with her stuffed friend, as my kids would call it back in the day. My daughter's still, not so much the boys. In any event, a big win for Mackenzie Dern over Amanda Ribas. Santiago Ponzinibbio with a brilliant win as well over Carlston Harris, and a nice scene afterwards. Our guest, who's going to join us in a couple of minutes, Cesar Almeida, had a vicious, scary knockout over Abdul Razak Al Hassan in the first round. A left hook from hell. Like I said, a front runner some 11 days in for the KO of the year. These are the KOs that we need to remember in December of 2025. Just an absolute scary, scary knockout. And he's a former kickboxer who's calling himself the king of the Apex, with a just amazing highlight. Roman Kopylov defeated Chris Curtis. Now, this was somewhat controversial because they were tied 1-1 going into the third, and he wins with a second left. He wins with a second left on the clock in the third round. And Chris Curtis was upset. I believe the referee was Mark Smith. Yes, it was Mark Smith. And ultimately, I understand the frustration. You think, and Eric Nixick was very upset as well. He posted something about it on social media. I understand it. I think Kopylov would have won that fight and would have won the third round as a result of the knockdown. And so I think that it would be ultimately a moot point. I understand in the moment why he would be so upset, but I think ultimately he was going to win that fight. Kopylov, that is. So not as controversial as, they stopped it with a second left and he was en route to winning the fight. And also, referees aren't supposed to look at the clock. They're supposed to call the action based on what's happening. Second left, 4:59 left. So I don't, if you're going to say that, you should never say he should have let it go. That's not the way a referee should ref. If you feel like the stoppage was a little bit, premature, regardless of the clock, fine, there's a conversation to be had. But even if he wouldn't have stopped it, I think, and we don't know, all we know is that it was tied 1-1 going into the third. I think that Kopylov would have won because of the knockdown. Some other highlights worth mentioning. Christian Rodriguez, please do not fight this man if you are undefeated. He defeats Austin Bashi via unanimous decision. I think, according to our good friend A.K. Lee, I think that was the fourth O he has taken from an opponent in the UFC, which is remarkable. There it is. Raul Rosas, Cameron Simon, Isaac Dulgarian, and now Austin. Remarkable. He's taken everyone. He's taken everyone 0. Puna Soriano with a great 31-second knockout of Uros Medic and a great celebration as well. And there were a lot of good, fun stoppages and performances. A moment that maybe wasn't so fun, but plenty of action involved was Victoria Dudikova apparently slapping her coach after her loss to Fatima Klein. This was kind of wild. Here she is after the fight, and there's some talk and some consoling, and then a boom, slap, punch, slap, not happy. And I don't know if he was saying something to her that pissed her off, or she was saying you didn't say enough, or you said something to piss me off. Who knows? All kinds of drama. Nevertheless, the UFC up and at 'em. 311 is a mere 5 days away. Let's talk to one of the big winners from Saturday. Like I said, the front runner right now for 2025 KO of the year. He is Cesar Almeida, a brilliant knockout of Abdul Razak Al Hassan. He's kind enough to join us to kick things off on this Monday. Hello, Cesar. Parabéns to you.
Obrigado. Hello. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you. And we have an interpreter standing by as well. And I'm going to try to speak slowly for you. Amazing knockout. Is it possible to even describe what it feels like to knock someone out like that and they're out cold as Abdul was?
Ele falou assim que se tem como você descrever como que é nocautear alguém assim, tipo, congelou o cara, caiu fedendo já.
He's amazing, bro. It's different senses, yeah. I can describe this because just in the moment for you feel the situation, but it's hard for say how feel this. It's different. A lot of emotions because a lot of things happens in the camp in their life, and you come in this fight and this happens. Wow, it's different. I can't say how feeling this.
They went to a commercial after the knockout, but then after they said Abdul was out for a long time. He was on the mat. Was it scary for you to see him out for so long?
Yeah, in the moment, I don't understand what is happening. This, just after the fight, when I go to house, I see this how hard is this KO, and a long time he stay for get up, yeah. But in the moment, I'm so excited, so emotions. I don't understand this, and just after the fight, when I'm back home, I see this really situation, yeah.
Speaking of emotion, we saw that you were very happy, very emotional when you found out that you won the 50K bonus. Why did that make you? Here's the video right here of you reacting. Why were you so happy?
Yes, because in Brazil, I can change my life now. I can start to change my life because Jesus I'm happy. I have 2 daughters and can put my daughters in a good position now and for making things in Brazil, because Jesus I'm happy. My family can good life now, yeah. Because this I am happy and all my working like 20 years in the sports kickboxing and now MMA, and now I can see money, what I mean, and making better my life in Brazil, because this I'm so happy, bro.
I saw a great photo of your daughter wearing your gear. How old is your daughter, and does she fight? And you have 2 daughters, right?
Yes, I have 2 daughters. This is like the job work in school,
Oh.
The children put how working you can be in the future, and my daughter go the UFC fighter.
I love
So
that.
amazing.
She was dressed as you, as her father.
Yeah. And I have 2 daughters, 11 and 3 years. Yeah.
Does the 11-year-old want to be a fighter too?
She's just like watching, no like trends, no like fight. She's doesn't like it, just like watching.
Okay. As you
No
mentioned,
trend.
you had a long career in kickboxing, 47 victories, well over 50 fights, and then you made the transition to MMA in 2021. You had 1 fight in 2016, but you made the transition. Why did you make that transition? Why did you decide to go from kickboxing to MMA?
Because in 2019 to 2020, the pandemic, everything is closed and kickboxing shows stop for a long time, and I am excited for keep working, keep making my job is working, my plans working. But the MMA shows in Brazil keep working, and I make my 2 fights, and the dreams coming true, yeah. And the dream comes true, and now I have a possibility for UFC, for contender. My manager working about this and putting me in a contender, and this time I put in my mental, no, bro. Now I am UFC, I am MMA fighter, and stop the kickboxing, just to carry my career in MMA. But because the pandemic, they stopped the fights kickboxing, and I decided just to fight MMA. Yeah.
So if it wasn't for the pandemic, do you think you would have stayed in kickboxing for the rest of your career?
Sorry, say again, brother.
Se não fosse pela pandemia, você tinha continuado no kickboxing? Se não fosse pela pandemia?
Yes, for sure. Maybe yes, because I am in a Glory Kickboxing. I see in a Glory Kickboxing 219 and making my debut. And after the pandemic exploded, but maybe the pandemic is not coming. I know switch to MMA. Yeah.
Wow. Some fans may recall that you fought Alex Pereira 3 times. You have a win over Alex Pereira, but now I see you training with Alex. So no chance you have a 4th fight in MMA.
I think is no, because Alex is light heavyweight now and probably fighting heavyweight.
Yeah.
It's impossible fighting because I never go up for the light heavyweight and he probably no down more. And it's okay. Now it's good plan for trying to that good together. Sometimes I can learn too much with him, and Sammy he can learn with me and other things. Yeah, it's good for partner train for job. Yeah, but it's hard for this fight to happen because he never down more for a middleweight. I think.
Did you expect him to have this much success in MMA?
Você esperava que ele ia ter tanto sucesso no MMA assim?
Yes, for sure. Because the guy is so strong, bro, so different and so smart. The Alex have the more K 5K I know in this year in this world, bro. The guy is so smart and so strong. He's different body, different situations. He put ever people's in danger. And when accept your hands, he can finish a fight all time. He can beat the heavyweight guys here in UFC. And for sure, when in kickboxing, he's so big in the kickboxing, bro. The guy win 2 belts in the glory. And everybody wait for this success when it come to MMA, yeah?
Your only loss in MMA is to Roman Kopylov, a split decision loss, and he fought on the card against a training partner of yours, Chris Curtis. It was controversial because the stoppage came with 1 second left. What did you think of that stoppage?
I think the judges is so premature for stop because 2 seconds, 3 seconds the left kick, yeah, and put it the fight by decision by KO, yeah. It's hard for Chris because almost done. He's can lose the fight, but for decision is different when you lose it for the KO, yeah. I think it's just so premature decision the judge, but this MMA, yeah, bro. The things happen when you give a decision for the judges, you have a problem.
Yeah. You said after you want to be in the video game and you want to have your own card. So do you think this knockout will get you in the video game and get you your own card?
Yeah, this is my dream, brother.
Why?
My person.
Why is it your dream?
The player, my person in a video game.
Yeah.
And the cards for my daughters. Yeah, he buy every week. Every week he go to a store for buy the cards for search my card. Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy, brother. My old daughter.
Yeah. So you think it happens this year? Did you ask the UFC when you were there?
I work too much for this, bro. I think it's happening. I asked for the guys. I send the message, and you gonna ask again.
Good. You should ask. Did you see Abdul Razak Al Hassan after the fight? Did you get a chance to speak to him?
Me?
Yeah. Did you see him in the back, like to make sure he was okay?
No. I don't see he in the back and in the hotel too. I don't see. But I will wait a little bit and send message for him on Instagram for talk a little bit and maybe train together in the future. Yeah.
Okay. I saw that you told my friend Guilherme Cruz, the reporter. You told he's a good friend of mine, the Brazilian Beast. You told him this before the fight. You said to him, "The end of the round is the best option for us to start working and make him miss, make him spend energy and go for the finish." And here you are, you knocked him out end of the round. And so this is part of your strategy. Can you explain why the end of the round you think that this happens?
Yeah, when I accepted the fight, I see for the guys this fight is danger because Al Hassak is so strong, so explosive, and he bring for me danger and a war. Yeah, you know what I mean. But in the second and the three rounds, your energy is low, is down. Yeah, because it's so big, it's so strong, need more energy. But in the second and three rounds, I haven't changed. But maybe if he putting me in the wall and make it pressure, he can break little bit and come so strong. He put a sprint for try take me KO. Yeah, and this time I have one change. And then me and my coach Nakash and Terere and Gianni and the guys extreme train this all day. When the guy make pressure after 3 4 punches your energy down and now you can open and try accept your hands, I hold 3 4 punches in the wall, the Al Hassak, and the five I look and no, I can go now. Woo. And one punch, but I was strong and they are 4 or 5 punches is lose the energy. You know what I mean? And I trained this for long 2 months. Long 2 months train this, training in backstage before walkout for the fight and work, bro. I'm so happy because my coach is good strategy. Yeah, I'm in the way.
And you sacrificed a lot, right? No home for Christmas or anything. You stayed in Las Vegas.
Yes, I come to Vegas in November, middle November, like 16, for make 6 weeks here, acclimation, because it's different climate in Las Vegas, so dry. I need to stay here for when I fight here for acclimation, for recover, for good partner strengths. Yeah, this is sacrifice, yeah, brother. Just in one Christmas, one day in the year is no problem.
Yeah.
50K for family now.
I love it. Well, congratulations, parabéns, and we see you maybe later this year in Brazil.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate. Thank you for the interview. Yeah, maybe see me in Brazil.
Okay.
I try this. Okay.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Incredible knockout. And I think we'll be talking about that knockout at the end of the year for the awards. Great to have you on, and all the best to you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good week, my friend.
Yes. All right. There he is, Cesar Almeida. Remember that name, climbing up the ranks at 185 and looked fantastic on Saturday. Knockout of the year contender already. All right, let's go to one of the biggest stars in boxing right now. He returns to action finally on February 22nd, his first fight under the Riyadh season umbrella, the first fight under the Matchroom umbrella for him as well after a long run with Top Rank. He's one of our own from Brick City, from Newark, representing New Jersey. And first time for me getting the opportunity to speak to him. Very excited about this. Let's say hello to Shakur Stevenson, kind enough to join us. Hey, Shakur, how's it going, my man? Thanks for joining us.
What's good? What's good, my guy?
It's good to talk to you. I appreciate this. I know it's been a very busy day for you. You were just at the press conference, and so let's get into it. Your opponent, Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield, not in attendance. What's your response to this? What's your reaction?
I think he's getting a little bit scared. I think that butterflies is hitting him right now. He's having the biggest fight of his career. He's trying to find any way out, and I just pray he come to the fight and show up on February 22nd.
Did you know about this in advance?
Nah, I just found out when I came to the press conference. They said something about his signature on his passport, but on my way here, when they said something about my signature on my passport, I just signed it right there. So I was very confused.
He tweeted something. I don't know if you saw it. He said, "It's amazing the length opponents go to try to sabotage a camp. None of you will stop this fight or us winning the belt. We know who the snake is. Now back to the camp and the new." What is he talking about? Is he saying that there's like a spy in his camp or something?
I don't know. I have no clue. I'm in England right now, so I have no clue what he's talking about. I think the kid is a little delusional, so prayers up for him, but I just hope he show up.
Were you annoyed that he didn't show? Every other opponent was there, every other matchup was there, and you're left without a dance partner, if you will. Did that annoy you? You have to come all the way in the middle of camp to England. Did this annoy you?
Yeah, it kind of annoyed me a little bit, but I'm a true professional, so it just shows that he's not a true professional. I'm a true professional. I show up, I do what I'm supposed to do, and come fight night, it'll be the same way.
A lot of people were surprised when this matchup was announced, not because it's not a great matchup, but they thought that maybe it was a little early for him to fight someone like you early in his career. Were you surprised that he accepted it?
Yeah, I was very surprised. Honestly, I'm the one who pushed for it. I'm the one who made this fight happen. I told him that if Zepeda didn't want to fight me, I'll fight him. So he been talking a lot of crap, and now he got to stand on everything he said.
Is that why you pushed for it? Because he's been talking a lot of crap about you?
Yeah, when somebody call your phone, a lot of people could ignore it. Somebody in my stature, somebody in my shoes could ignore it, keep it moving, and go fight bigger and better fights. But when everybody don't want to fight you, I'd rather just answer the phone call and show people that they not who they say they are.
Do you enter this fight, Shakur, with a chip on your shoulder? Let's be honest. A lot of people have been taking shots at you over the past year. Do you feel like you have something to prove?
For sure. Yeah, a lot of people kind of turned their back on me. They don't talk bad about me. They act like I'm not the guy who I've been my whole career. So this is not my first time in this position. I done been here before. Now I'm just trying to show people who I really am.
Why do you think so many people turn their back on you? Why do you feel this way?
I think, people just pick their favorites, and when they got a favorite, they feel like they can't like other fighters. So if my style is not the same as the style that they like, they're going to try to talk bad on my style and act like I'm not the guy. So I think that's what it comes with.
Yeah.
And I'm too dominant. Like, I'm very dominant in the boxing ring.
Sure. And is that sometimes a blessing and a curse?
It's like...
Go ahead.
It's like... Yeah, it is. Because it's when you're watching basketball and the team goes up 30, and it's exciting to watch them go up 30, but after 30, it's like you turn off the TV, you turn off the channel, because it's not exciting to watch somebody be so dominant. So it's the same thing with me. Like, I go up 30 in my fights, and all you want to see is a knockout, and if the knockout don't happen, it's like, it's not entertaining, it's not no challenge for the guy that he's fighting, and I just make it look too easy.
Okay. People used to criticize Floyd about this, Floyd Mayweather, not Schofield, saying, that he was too boring, but it was because he was so dominant. Do you think that you're dealing with the same thing?
Yeah, like, if I go in there and a guy land a shot on me in, like, the first round, I think that everybody will be thrilled and to the edge of their seat, and it'll be, like, very entertaining, but, like, I don't get touched, so it kind of make people mad.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, the one that everyone wants to see is Tank, and I know you've been asked a bunch about him over the past weekend. Can I ask you this? Why does he seem to get so upset when people ask him about you? At that press conference, he was like, who's that? Who's that? What has he done? What has he done? He seemed very aggravated by the mere mention of your name, which is crazy because, you guys have been, you've been at the top for a long time. You're not some kid. It's a fight that people have discussed. Why do you think he gets so upset at just the question being asked?
I think he's like a guy that he don't want to share the spotlight. When my name is asked, it seems like he get very frustrated in his feelings, and he just got to live with it until he fight me. So, if he feel that way, I think we should fight. Get it off your chest.
Do you believe him when he says he's going to retire this year? Sorry, I lost you there. What did you say?
I say it's really like not none of my business. I try to like stay out of the things that don't really got nothing to do with me. So if he do, good for him. If he don't, good for him too.
Okay. True or false? Before your career is over, you will fight Tank.
True.
All right. So he's not going to retire.
We got to see.
Yeah. Is that if you had one fight to pick? Like, will you be upset if by the time your career is done and you have many years left, if that's the one that doesn't happen? Would that be the top of the wish list for you?
Yeah, I'd be very upset if that fight don't happen, just because of the fact that this is a fight that I know been my dream fight for a long time. I've been ready to prove who I am to the world by beating him. So yeah, I'll be kind of upset, but I don't need him either. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah. He went on a social media storm, if you will, over the weekend about everyone being at this Ring magazine thing and that he wouldn't be there. He wouldn't, kiss the ring, so to speak. Have you seen some of these posts by him, and what do you make of his stance towards being involved?
I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I don't kiss the ring either. I'm a man. I go by honor and respect. Right now it's a business and a business opportunity. So, somebody offers some business, I'll take it. But I mean, that's how he feel. That's how he feel. But truthfully, I ain't with that. I ain't with that kissing the ring either.
How did you enjoy or not enjoy the event on Saturday? It was like every single famous boxer on the planet, other than maybe a couple, were in attendance under one roof. Did you like being a part of that?
Yeah, I love being a part of it. I thought it's amazing that Turkey kind of put them awards together. It was like watching like the VMAs or something like that, but actually being there and getting credit for like the stuff that boxers did and boxers do, and I appreciate it.
Did you meet anyone that you've never met before that you've looked up to, admired, respected?
Yeah, I met Usyk. Usyk. He kind of got a lot of great energy, so I was just watching his vibe and his energy, and I like me and him.
Your relationship with Turkey, how would you describe it?
It's a business relationship, and actually, Turkey is a lot cooler than like people think. People kind of make these bad thoughts about him, but I think he's a good guy.
Well, what about that photo there? You, Turkey, and Canelo? I mean, come on, that's legendary stuff.
Yeah, I had walked up and they was already talking, and yeah, it was a good vibes. Canelo said stuff to me. Turkey started talking to me, and it was a good energy.
I mentioned that you have maybe a chip on your shoulder, something to prove. It's also your first fight with Matchroom. Do you feel like you have something to prove regarding like, hey, the investment you're making in me is worthwhile, Top Rank, you guys made a mistake. I know you left, you made the decision, but everyone wants to have a good first impression, right? Do you feel that as well?
Yes, for sure. Honestly, I'm coming to steal a show. I think I want to be the fight that everybody talk about. A lot of people have been talking bad about me through these last couple months, but come February 22nd, I hope they have the same energy.
Ultimately, who comes, like, when you start thinking about people that have been talking about, who's let's name some names. Who's on the top of the list? Who do you need to shove it down their throat?
I'm gonna go with like a Tim Bradley, probably one. It's so many people. I don't even want to give everybody the fame. I don't want to say everybody's name, but I'm gonna throw Tim Bradley number one on my list.
The former boxer, now Top Rank broadcaster for ESPN. He's been critical of you, and you feel like it's been unfair?
I mean, I think some of it is fair, and then some of it is unfair. But honestly, I think he kind of just like over dramatic, and he kind of makes it a lot worse than what it is. So I'm gonna shut him up too, though. He gonna see.
Ultimately, why was it time to leave Top Rank?
I think their vision just wasn't the same as my vision. I kind of look at myself a certain way, and I know that I'm going to be one of the biggest stars and one of the best fighters in the sport of boxing. So I don't think that they had the same vision for me, but I appreciate them for everything they did so far in my career. So
okay, and it obviously came down to Eddie, but was it down to Eddie and someone else? Who are you weighing at the 11th hour? Who are you deciding between?
Yeah, it probably was Eddie, maybe even Top Rank too. I still had that deal on the table with them, but honestly, it just like the way that it ended and the way that they try to like turn the public against me, it kind of turned me off and made me not want to go with them. So Eddie was kind of like one of the main choices.
Okay, and as far as fighting back home in Newark, are there any plans of that in 2025? Obviously, first one's in Riyadh. Are there any talks of you returning home to Jersey?
Yeah, it depends. Like if one of these big name fighters want to pull up to my hometown, but if not, then no. But it all depends. I want the biggest and best fights available right now. So
yeah. So how many are you hoping to get in 2025? 2, 3? What are we thinking? Because you're fighting pretty early.
Three.
And if you can lay him out, it's obviously Kid Austin on the 22nd, and who would be the next two?
Lomachenko and then Tank.
How confident are you to getting the Lomachenko fight?
Not very confident. I think he's scared. I had sparred him a while back, and I think he's been scared ever since.
Really? And would Top Rank be an issue in making that fight?
Yeah, they will definitely get in the way of the fight too. So my hopes are very low for it. But I mean, with Turkey, I think he can make a lot of things happen. So hopefully it can.
So obviously we know about Tank. If it's not Lomachenko for the second fight, who would it be?
Zepeda.
Okay.
William Zepeda. Zepeda is a good fighter, so I would love to beat him up too.
I feel like that would be a possibility, right? He's with Golden Boy.
Yeah, but he been running from me for a minute, so it's kind of I'm kind of skeptical about that fight too.
Why is everyone running from you?
Because people don't want to go in a fight to where they know that they're gonna lose, and I think a lot of people know when they sign up to fight me that they are gonna lose. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, so they don't feel like they have a chance.
And they feel like you're gonna clown them.
Embarrass them is the word. You know, hit, not get hit, embarrass.
All right. How much longer are you in London for?
I actually leave tomorrow and get back to training camp and getting ready for my fight.
Okay. Overall, have you enjoyed all of this, or is it kind of a pain in the middle of training camp?
It's kind of a pain, but it's kind of cool to just be in London and get to see like a new scenery. I kind of ain't leave the country in a long time, so this is my first time leaving the country in a minute. So
okay, and just curious, Tyson Fury today announced his retirement. You calling cap or no cap?
Nah, I'm not calling cap. I think he's ready to give it up, and I think that he had a tremendous career, one of the best heavyweights to do it, and respect to him.
With an AJ fight that close, you think he's walking away?
I think he made a lot of money. I think he's like in it for the biggest and best fights, but he made so much money where he could just sit down and chill and relax.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll take your word for it. Great to have you. One last question before I let you go, Shakur. I don't know if you can hear me because you froze up. Can you hear me or no? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know, like why I'm.
It's probably because you're in transit. I always wanted to ask you this. Your name, Shakur. Were you named after Tupac Shakur?
Yes, I was named after Tupac Shakur.
That's amazing. What's the story there? Who like where'd you get where did it come from?
My mother was a big Tupac fan. Actually, like when I was growing up, that's all she really used to play. But yeah, she loved Tupac, and I'm named after him. So
I love it. I always wanted to ask you that. Great stuff, Shakur. Thanks for doing this in transit. Appreciate it, and good luck to you on February 22nd.
Thank you.
All right, there he is, Shakur Stevenson, one of the best and brightest young stars. He was asked about Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield, not attending at the press conference today. We have that clip from just about 30 minutes ago, I think it was. Do we have that? Yeah?
Yep.
Here it is.
He's been calling you out. Not a lot of people call you out, but he has. Has he made a bit of a mistake?
Yeah, he definitely made a mistake. He's a good young fighter, hungry fighter, but I hope he still take the fight. I mean, I'm kind of worried because he's not here. I was kind of excited to see him.
Do you have a message for him? Because I'm sure he'll be watching somewhere.
Don't get butterflies and pull out the fight, Floyd. I know it's a hard time. I know you're dealing with a lot, but just show up.
Well, there you have it. Shakur Stevenson and Floyd Schofield, one of the great fights that have been added to this February 22nd card, which, of course, is being dubbed The Last Crescendo. And it's headlined by Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev 2. We saw them fight back in October. Very, very close fight, eventually won by Beterbiev. Bivol gets a chance to unseat the big scary man. Now, the other fight on this card that is stealing all the headlines, of course, is not Anthony Joshua. It's Joseph Parker against Daniel Dubois. Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, saying if the Tyson Fury fight actually is dead, that he'd want AJ to fight Dubois or Parker. He has a history against the two of them, has a win over Parker, and has a loss against Dubois back in September at Wembley. Dubois knocked him out. So that's a great one. A lot of people calling it the card of the year. A lot of people calling it the best card of all time. A lot of people saying it's the best of all the Riyadh season cards. I think you can make a strong case for all of them. But I think of all the guys on the card who have something to prove, I would put Shakur up on the top of the list. Who's who? Ryan Garcia was at the Ring Awards as well. There was a thing there with Bill Haney and Devin Haney shouting at him. There's now some reports that he's dropping the lawsuit and the rematch is going to be made. The amount of drama in boxing right now compared to the world of MMA is insane. Do you guys notice that? There is, I feel like every day there's so much drama, so many characters, so many egos, and MMA just feels kind of like it's just humming along, UFC humming along, not a ton of drama, not a ton of craziness. In fact, in MMA, we're getting rivals coming together. Did you see this last night? Rob Whittaker and Israel Adesanya coming together. I reached out to both teams and said, how did this come about? And apparently, they just kind of came together and said, let's train. Let's spar. Look at this. Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya just having a spar. Look at that. A hug, a dap, a little technique here, a little technique there. Look at this. Look at that. This warmed the heart. I loved it. I never truly felt like there was animosity there. I never understood how there could be animosity. I was always told that two anime lovers can't hate each other. Well, look at this. Rivals one day, friends the next, funny world, new year, new friends. Now, I did notice, I don't want to be the one to stir the pot when they're having this newfound friendship, but I noticed that Rob didn't tag Izzy and Izzy tagged Rob. Anything there, Frank? What do you say as a social media connoisseur?
Beep.
I mean, surely GC noticed this. Did you notice he tagged Izzy tagged Rob?
No, I didn't notice. I don't think this matters. They both posted the pictures
almost simultaneously.
Yeah, if one was heard about it, I don't think they would have even posted them.
But do you think they coordinated? Okay, like 3, 2, 1.
Maybe. Honestly, they look like best pals in this. It really did warm the heart.
It was nice.
I can't believe it's been almost 3 years since the last time they fought.
Yeah, I never felt like they were true. I didn't really understand the beef. I feel like they needed the beef, and more Izzy needed the beef. He needed to hate Rob, but now...
Yeah, I think you fight twice.
Yeah, there's a respect.
Both times for the title. I think you build the animosity as you head towards the fight, but now that years have passed, they know...
Look at that, posing. Look at this. I loved it. I freaking loved it. It actually really warmed the heart. Imagine they start cornering each other.
I don't know if we're going to go that far.
Rob showing up in Saudi?
Yeah, he's there for the Imavov fight. That'd be great.
It would be great. So shout out to the two of them. Yesterday morning, we wake up to some news regarding Khabib Nurmagomedov. Did you guys see this? Video of Khabib on a Frontier Airlines flight, not Alaska Airlines. Alaska caught a couple strays. I don't know what that says about them. Why did everyone jump to the conclusion that it was Alaska? Was there something about the flight?
I saw that too. I don't know. Habib even had to clarify that it was in Alaska.
Anyway.
I've heard Alaska Airlines is a great airline.
I mean, they're both a little bit substandard, no?
Alaska's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard Alaska's pretty good. My biggest question is, why would Habib be on an Alaska Airlines flight? I feel like that's mostly like Pacific Northwest area.
Look, this was a serious thing. It was amazing reading the comments and seeing how many people saying, why is one of the most famous UFC fighters of all time in coach? Here it is.
It's not about the language. I know how to help people, and now you guys, because this woman don't understand what she's talking about. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're either gonna have you switch your seat because my flight attendants are not allowing you to sit in the exit row, or you're gonna have to get off this plane and then we'll have to leave because they're not comfortable with sitting in the emergency exit row. My flight attendants. And unfortunately, it is fair. It's not fair. Yes, it is. You guys, when I was not checking, they asked me, do I know English? Yes, I said. And they said yes. And I understand that, but it's also off of their judgment. I'm not going to do this back and forth. I will call a supervisor. You can either take a different seat,
raising her voice
go ahead and escort you off the plane.
Dangerous work.
Which one are we doing?
She definitely had no idea.
Okay, I'll call a supervisor, and then we're going to have to rebook you for a different flight. Josh, do you copy?
Josh.
Poor Josh. Can you take care of
Josh?
Former UFC champion, undefeated, Habib Nurmagomedov.
Screw this. No luggage. Not even a carry-on, huh? And then you see some teammates leaving as well. So obviously this picks up when he's being asked to either move his seat, he's sitting window exit row, or get off the plane. And he doesn't want to move. And so she tells him to get off the plane. We don't know what happened before all of that. He did post this on social media. Here it is. First of all, I need to clarify that was Fly Frontier, not Alaska Air. Lady who comes to me with questions was very rude from the very beginning. I do hate when people are like, they have that tone, Like, why does she have to have that tone? It wasn't very friendly, but, she has a job
What
to do.
tone?
Okay, anyway. Even though I speak very decent English and can understand everything and agree to assist, she still insists on removing me from my seat. What was the base for that? Racial, national, or another one? I'm not sure. But after 2 minutes of conversation, she called security and I was deplaned from this aircraft. After 1.5 hours, I boarded another airline, one left to my destination. I did my best to stay calm and respectful, as you can see on the video. Very true. But those crew members could do better next time and just be nice with clients. Very true. What happened before the camera started rolling? Did people know that? Do you think there's anyone sitting there being like, yo, that's Khabib? I guess the person filming.
Yeah, there had to have been someone because someone started filming it.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have if it was just a normal.
It's a crazy thing. We've all sat in exit row and they ask you, are you, like, I remember one time in particular, I was sleeping. It was one of those where I stayed up all night working and then you take like that 6 a.m. flight home. And of course, this was back when I was flying, coach. Now it's, now. Oh, okay. Sorry. No, one was going to.
No, man. We get it. You fly first class.
No.
Bars and beds and 3-course meals.
That was just before.
No.
It was on the cover.
I get it, man.
It was on the cover.
Well, look, Habib's a man of the people. Flies Frontier coach.
With the boys.
With the boys, man.
Yeah.
Got to.
Anyway, they wake you up. If you're sleeping before the flight takes off, they will wake you up, right? And say, can you assist? Will you assist? You have to say yes. Now, I'm not suggesting that he didn't, but that's like the one thing that they do. If someone looked back and said like, I don't want that guy sitting there, that is awful. Just for the record, if Khabib says yes or no, I'd want him sitting there because he could probably thwart any issue, any problem whatsoever. He's one of the most talented martial artists of all time. Now, Frontier has posted a statement. This is what they had to say. Via MMA Fighting, good job, great job by them getting this statement. Frontier Airlines has issued this statement regarding the altercation. On January 11th, as flight 4401 from Las Vegas to San Francisco was preparing for departure, a flight attendant initiated the customary briefing for exit row passengers. Customer Khabib Nurmagomedov, who was seated in an exit row, was asked multiple times if he was willing and able to assist in the event of an emergency. According to the flight attendant, Mr. Nurmagomedov did not respond despite repeated attempts, which placed him in non-compliance with FAA requirements. This is actually exactly what I was talking about, and I didn't even read this. The flight attendant informed Mr. Nurmagomedov that he could be moved to a different upgraded seat or exit the plane. Videos circulating on social media platforms do not capture the interaction and instead show a subsequent interaction after a gate agent entered the plane and reiterated the option to be reseated. As a result of the customer's initial unresponsiveness and repeated declinations? Is it declinations? I've never even heard that word. Declinations? Sounds like Declan Rice. Of a seat change, he was asked to deplane per airline and FAA policy. The decision to deplane the customer was in no way related to his ethnicity, and we have refunded him and his traveling companions for their flights. So what do you guys think of this? Nightmare PR situation for Frontier.
It escalates. Like if you're asking somebody, do you want to relocate your seat, and they're saying no, or they're just not giving you a warm and fuzzy that they actually understand the importance of where they are. Like you're in this important seat. I could see that, but it's awkward when the gate assistant or whatever they refer to them as was like, well, she doesn't feel comfortable. Like that does sound out of context, like horrible. But it could be she feels uncomfortable because you don't seem to be alert and taking this very seriously, and that's all we need from you right now is confirmation that you understand you could be put in a position where people are relying on you.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Ultimately, this is a PR nightmare for Frontier. He's one of the most beloved fighters in MMA history, combat history. He's got a very loyal and passionate fan base. No one wants to see a legend treated as such. But very possible the flight attendant had no idea who he was, obviously. And I just know from experience, if you don't say yes, they will get very mad at you. And sometimes it kind of seems silly. Yes, of course I'm going to help people. What do you think? What do you think? I'm some kind of barbarian here? Anyway, do you think all the boys left the plane too? Like if that happened to one of your friends, GC, are you leaving the plane?
Yeah, you got to get off the plane, man.
If you guys are going on a trip, you're going to Vegas, everyone, the vibes are high, and one friend refused to say yes, are you leaving the plane?
If that is what happened, that's a bit of a different story. I'd be like, dude, just say yes, and we'll just move on from this. But I mean, if
let's say it didn't happen, let's say it was just a friend that got into some sort of
friend has to deboard, you have to get off. Honestly, this happened when we went to Vegas in September.
It did?
What? We were we were getting ready to leave, me, Rick, and Frank. And as we were getting to security, me and Rick obviously prepared travelers, have TSA pre-check. We're ready to just fly right through security. Frank does not have TSA
They
pre-check.
call it a random screening. There's nothing random about it. When every time I get there, they're like, "Sir, you've been selected for a random screening." I'm like, "Great."
Wow.
Regardless, security line is 10 miles long at like 5:30 a.m. I look at Frank. I was like, "This might cut close." And he's like, "You guys just go on without me." And me and Rick are obviously like, "We're not going to leave you, man. We're obviously just going to move the flight and stay here with you." So that answers it. Yeah, deboard.
You were going to stay?
Rick? Are you
Optics.
leaving the plane?
Yeah, of course. We were going to wait for Frank. Of course.
You would know. You would land back in New York, and like obviously in first class, you would have been napping the whole way. You would get there and be like, "Man, you guys are taking forever to get off the plane."
Nah, it's
We'd be
crazy.
like, "No, we had to deboard."
Yeah, I'd be like, "This is crazy. I'll see you at the casino." With the time that we went to 300, I stood there for what felt like 15 minutes, videotaping everyone get off the plane.
Yeah,
you remember that? I had to do multiple.
Right, I was
videos.
sitting in a normal coach seat. You were sitting in 1A.
This was like row 56. It was crazy.
You were sitting in 1A. You got the tour of the pilot's cabinet.
That was nice.
You got to walk in. You got the wings. You had the wings clipped onto your shirt. I was like, "What is this? I thought this was reserved for children."
That was nice.
You're like, nope, it's reserved for 1A.
Connor would have gotten removed, and Ariel would have been still waiting there.
Hey, would have had no idea. You would have had no idea.
Oh.
The flight from Manchester home, I almost got removed.
This is crazy.
That was an insane.
What are all the problems? Why so many problems?
Things have changed in coach since you moved up to first class, man.
No, I know. I had to fly home with my family over the break. I was appalled. Actually, the lady.
This is the best.
The lady with the cart was like, "Mr. Helwani," and no, I swear. And she's like, "You're 1K, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Can you keep it down?" What are you doing back here? I was like, in any event,
with the unwashed masses.
Yeah, she said, in any event, here's a box of cheese and gummy bears.
Don't share.
Here's the complimentary bullshit.
No.
Thank you so much.
They give you a box.
got the upgraded.
Yeah.
They give you a box. They give you a box that people pay for. They give it to you.
I know. That's
1K.
what I'm saying. We really appreciate your service as a 1K member. Thanks for spending all your money strictly with United Airlines. Thank you so much.
Yes.
While we were watching the video, you commented that it didn't look like he had luggage. Do you think he's the kind of person who's like, "Okay, I'm getting off the plane. One of my boys is going to grab my luggage"?
No.
Well, he might have checked the bag.
Yeah.
You think there's any chance Josh was like, "Oh shit, this is Habib, dude. What the hell?" He's like, "You got any bags?"
Up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just, as the kids like to say, raw dogging it.
Yeah, maybe raw dogging the flight. I mean, that's an easy one. Vegas to San Fran.
Yeah, I mean,
that's raw doggable.
He if he didn't have anything, that would be incredible. Like no bags whatsoever, no check.
He had the over the shoulder thing. He might have something waiting.
Nah, but Vegas is a second home. Obviously, San Francisco is near AKA. Maybe he just went to train. He's got stuff there, and he goes back. Who knows?
Yeah, that might be it, man. That might be it.
Have you ever flown Frontier?
I have once, but I upgraded everything to where actually I was sitting 1A. Some people have said I am the ArielHelwani of Frontier.
Wow. By the way, I was wondering about this. Of course, wouldn't be caught dead in a Frontier. Is there a business in Frontier?
No.
Oh, well, the people...
There's extra leg room. That's what
the people criticizing Habib...
Yeah.
I mean, he had no choice.
It's what it is it's essentially the same thing as Spirit Airlines. You're going to pay a super low base fee, and then you're going to have to pay a bunch of money to upgrade things.
Okay.
Checking a bag, carry-on is extra. Maybe that's why he didn't. The carry-ons are extra on Frontier.
If you had to rank Frontier, Alaska, or Spirit.
I've only flown Frontier out of all of those. I actually had a really enjoyable experience on Frontier. It was actually great.
Isn't it like a Northwest flight? Like is it?
No, I took it from Hartford CT, the old MIA.
Oh wow, what a flight! This was before the Smith and Walensky's incident?
Oh yeah. I'll never be back in Miami.
Oh, period.
Yeah, someone actually asked to go to Smith and Walensky's in New York, and I blocked their number.
Yes. All right. Well, who knows? I mean, a potential lawsuit. I don't know. It doesn't sound like Khabib is looking for that, but they've now put out their side of the story, and let's see if anything happens from there. It has been a while. It feels like since we spoke to our guest coming up right now. I haven't talked to him in a while, but one of our favorites in the history of the program, and got some delightful news that he is in fact returning to action on the 22nd of February in beautiful Seattle, Washington. In a fight that perhaps wasn't on the radar necessarily, but just great to see him back. He's the former UFC bantamweight champion, one of the very best analysts in the game. You heard him on Saturday at the Apex event on ESPN Plus. Excuse me. He's the great Dominick Cruz, kind enough to join us. Is he there? There he is. Dom.
What's up, Ariel?
How are
How's
you?
it going? I'm good, man. Living life.
That's my virtual hug. That's my virtual hug.
Oh.
I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, it's well, what's been a while? Which part? There's been a lot of things. It's been a while.
That's
right?
true.
I haven't
That's
talked in a
true.
while.
Just this.
I haven't been on the show in a while. Well, I talked to you, but we talk separate from the show until I fight. Then I'm relevant.
That's not true. You know what? That is actually so not true. I try to have you on. You're like, I got nothing right now. That is not true. I'm not a Johnny come lately.
Hey, I didn't say it was you, did I? Maybe it was my choice.
That's true. That's a good point. Why did I get so defensive just there?
It's a great question for you to be an Ariel. It's pretty regular from my experience of you.
With me? Really?
You're very defensive.
Have I gotten better?
What's better, man? You're good how you are. It's just who you are, man.
Yeah, but no one wants to deal with a defensive person, like who's always got their guard up.
I'm glad you know that's a very wise thing you just admitted to yourself.
Yeah. We're all works in progress, right?
Facts.
What's the
That's
thing
what friends are for.
That's true. You tell it like it is. I've always appreciated that about you. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I would be nicer to myself and stop being so critical.
Wow. Critical of what?
Well, just think of what we just did right there. Imagine how I am to myself.
Yeah, but like, what do you find? Like, there's a lot I would change about myself. I know off the top of my head. What would you love to change about or improve on?
That the thing that I get to improve on is wanting to change myself because I am how I am. Just love the parts of me that I don't love because that's been the hard thing to learn.
What don't you love about yourself?
I would say I could go. I mean, the list goes on, Ariel. There's so many. I could go for days. Perfectionism, I would say, is my greatest flaw.
You still strive for perfection all these years later.
Yeah, everything I do. That's it. It's a way of being. It's not something you do, and it's something that's not real. It's made up. You can't be perfect, right? We all know that. But that's something that I would like to change. Is the thought that I could be.
When do you think you've been closest to perfect?
Never, man. It's impossible. Not even close.
Not even close.
That's what's so ironic about it. Like I think like natural. I'll speak for myself. I naturally think that if I strive to be perfect, then I'm going to be the best version, close to perfect. But all it does is create more resistance because it's impossible.
Why are you coming back?
I love to compete, Ariel. I started this sport when it was illegal in every state, and everybody, we were legitimately called human cockfighters, like basically roosters that fight each other with knives. Like we were considered that. And I remember thinking back then, like, really? Like that's I just enjoy fighting. Keeps me out of trouble. It's legal. So it keeps me from doing stupid things on the street. It keeps me from going out too late. Keeps me from putting, bad things in my body, drugs, alcohol, bad food. Because if I put those things in my body, then I can't compete the next day. I can't defend myself against dangerous people that are trying to hurt me in the gym. So fighting kind of keeps me really. It just gives me a good route, keeps me clear, and it's a transformation process, man. When you put yourself on a public forum to possibly be the greatest performance that's ever been made, or an embarrassing moment. That right there, the dichotomy between that is such a transformational process, and transformation is a public event. So that's what I think this thing's all about. It's a journey about transformation, growing, and martial arts always does that for me. It just helps me really, like, it's like pressing a fast forward button on lessons in life.
Wow.
You get them really fast and really hard, and there's nothing kind about it.
16 days from now, January 29th, 2005, you made your MMA debut. Do you remember that? Rage in the Cage 67 in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow.
Who did you
Is
fight?
that right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Wow, I didn't know that date. I don't really keep track of the dates, but now I do remember Rage in the Cage, obviously, in the fights, but I don't remember when I started.
Do you remember who you fought on that card?
Oh, man. Fight number 1?
Yeah.
I believe it was in Casa Grande. It was a guy from Casa Grande. What was his name? I don't know. I just remember the fight. The fight was really hard. I got strangled a lot. I was just fighting out of chokes the whole fight. Barely made it. I can't remember his name, though.
Eddie Castro.
Eddie Castro. That was a hard fight, man. That guy really, really made me realize I needed to gain some weight and get a lot stronger, because it was only 155 pounds and up at this time. There was no 125, 35, 45 or women's division at all. I was trying to strengthen myself up to fight a Sean Shirk around this time. He was the champion.
Huh.
Or, even a Matt Hughes, which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
But that was my only option back then, when the sport was there for me, was to beef up and fight at 155. I have like 4 fights at 155. I have like 2 fights at 145. And then I moved to 35 after I lost to Faber the first time.
Tough fight, as you mentioned. Was there any part of you that was like, this isn't for me?
What do you mean? Oh, the first fight?
Yeah.
No. At this time, it was just fun. I was just glad I didn't have to do that on the street and risk getting arrested. So I was, 20 years old, 20, maybe not even that, maybe 19, I think, 19 or 20. So I was just glad that I wasn't on the streets doing stupid things, like I said. And then I was glad to go out there and perform. I made less than $50 for that fight. I made no money.
Wow.
It cost me more money to drive to that fight than I made on the fight itself, the gas money. So at this point, I was doing it to see what I was made of. I feel like a lot of the military does that too. When you go to the military, you're 18, they sign you up because at that time, as a man, I just wanted to see what I have inside me, what makes me different. And, fighting kind of gave that to me, just like military might give that to a lot of people, I feel like, a lot of men or women.
If we would have talked that night and I would have said, okay, like, what's the end goal here? Like, well, what are you actually trying to get out of all this? Where do you end up? Would it have come anywhere near what has happened over the last 20 years?
Absolutely not. No way, Ariel. Like, when I started, like I said, my first 5, I got to 6-0 by myself with no coach. I mean, I had guys that would come and they'd support me here and there, and I'd gather them, Matt Verhalen, Eddie Wineland, Ed West, couple like key people, Chad Dietmeyer. These are guys that I used to train with way back in the day. Joe Lozon's brother.
Dan?
Excuse me, I got to do a training. Dan Lozon, I got to train with Efren Escudero, Yahtzee Mesa, Seth Baczynski, Santino DeFranco was back in the day. I used to train with him. These are guys that I used to train with. And, I was just doing it, like I said, to stay out of trouble because I enjoyed fighting. I didn't really think it was still illegal. So I didn't know it was going to explode the way it was. But then when The Ultimate Fighter came out, I saw it as a business opportunity. That's when I started looking at it differently. I started to see, wow, this is really getting picked up by everybody. It's going to be a huge sport. I knew it. I just knew in my gut it was going to explode with what Dana and the UFC was doing. And then The Ultimate Fighter was going to be the catalyst to help it explode. And at this time, I was still going to college. So I was working 3-4 jobs at a time, plus coaching wrestling, plus going to college. So it was very hard work. And training was like my only outlet. So it felt so like it filled my heart. And I started to realize real quick, work, school, and all the other stuff drained me. And going to the gym was the only place I felt my heart and my mind felt full and rejuvenated. So once I got to 6-0, I decided, all right, if I can leave the region of Arizona, because I beat most of the best in Arizona in the first 5-6 fights, I said if I can go leave the region and maybe go to California or Colorado or some other show and win there, then there's a possibility maybe I could do this and have a future. And that's when I got a fight on 2 days' notice in Eric Del Fiero's promotion called Total Combat. And I took the fight and I ended up winning that fight. And it was another really hard fight. And it gave me a lot of confidence. So then when I won that, he brought me back 2 more fights. I won 2 more titles. I had a total of 3 titles. And then he said, hey, I'll coach you. Let's get you ready for Uriah Faber in the WEC. You got 6 weeks. Let's go. And I did it.
I love
Never
these
turned
stories.
back.
I love these stories. Is Eric going to be in your corner on February 22nd?
No, Eric's working. He's basically like the Forrest Griffin of the Mexico City PI.
What?
So he's
the Mexico City
like
PI.
Performances. You've heard of that, right?
Oh, the PI. I was thinking of like private investigation. Yes, of course. Oh, he's over there now.
Yeah, he's coaching. He's like the head. He's like the Forrest there. Basically.
Got it.
He facilitates he's pretty much doing what he always did with Alliance, but he's now working for the UFC itself, and so that would be a conflict of interest. So yeah, this will be the first fight since I met Eric, since the story I just told you, that he will not be in my corner.
Wow. You know why I thought private investigation? Because I know for a minute, well, for the longest time, he was a firefighter as well, right?
Yeah, he retired, and then that's what moved him to this next step of his life where he wanted to go. You know, Eric's always loved coaching, loved being part of the sport, loved giving back to athletes. So when he said he was going to move, I was like, man, what am I going to do? You know, where am I going to go? And I was thinking, you know, as a coach, he really was the only guy who, like I said, picked me up and said, you don't have a coach. You kept showing up. I kept showing up to these fights with no cornerman and no coach. So he's like, if you don't have one, I got you. Come with me. Come train with me. And he was the only one who really saw anything in me, was holding for me for free, was buying lunch for me when I had no money, he was getting me to the gym. He would give me rides to the gym. I got to sleep on his floor. So there were so many things he gave me for free in the beginning of my career that I was thinking, this is where he wants to go. Maybe I could help him win a championship in his world now. And so I decided to follow him out to the Mexico City PI and just support him in what his dream was and his new dream. I mean, leaving public service work as a firefighter for 20 plus years that's huge. Thank you to all the public safety people out there, firefighters, police officers, military. I mean, incredible human beings. He did that for 20 years and then retired. And then what do you do? And it's like, man, I could really see myself in him with fighting. Like, when fighting's done for 20 plus years, what are you going to do? Well, you got to wear a new hat. And it was really respectful to me that he was respectable to me that he was ready to just change hats immediately, jump right back on the horse and try something brand new and different. And it's not an easy job. And he's really kicking ass at it. And I love the way that everything's flowing out there in Mexico City. I love being there and just supporting him and his dreams and what he wants to create the way he did me has really supported both of us in our relationship as friends and family at this point now too. So it became a win-win situation, and I didn't expect it to go that way, but it has, and here I am.
So who will be in your corner on February 22nd, and where are you training for this fight?
I'm training in Mexico City.
Oh, wow.
And I'll be out there, so he won't be able to help me, but I'll bring people out. I've got a guy named Carl Gebhardt that's going to come out. He was in my corner for Casey Kenny and Pedro Munoz, and he'll be in my corner for this one with another guy that I used to train with way back. I brought him out of Tucson, Arizona with me. His name's Nick Piedmont. He was in my corner when I fought TJ Dillashaw. And these are the two main leads that I'll have there. They just know me really well. They've known me my whole, a really long time, and I got a good camaraderie and flow with them. And most importantly, they know Eric too. So they all kind of used to train back in the day a little bit. So we've all got a similar mindset and approach.
Is this your last fight?
That's what's going to happen, because the body just isn't the same anymore. You know, when you got to start training differently because the body isn't doing what you need it to, then you're subsidizing, right? You're taking away something here and there. And so I don't want that to be the case. And I think if I just keep going and going, I could end up in a space where I can't lift my arm. I don't know if anybody's seen TJ Dillashaw recently.
Yeah.
I saw it where he can't even lift his arm this high. I've had multiple shoulder surgeries. Those are the things I've been building over this time that I've been off is rebuilding the body for this fight to come back and make sure that I can make it through a camp in one piece. And that's always the tough part because I train extremely hard. I think that was the issue with Cain Velasquez. I think personally, if I watched, that was the issue with Khabib. A lot of the best athletes in the world, the reason we get hurt is we train harder than anybody. I think those two people I named were some of the hardest training athletes in the history of the sport, period, ever. And I think that's why they had a lot of injuries. I think that's also why I've had a lot of injuries. It's just an interpretation. It's not a fact, but from my experience, when I watch champions really train, Alexander Gustafsson comes to mind as well. Some of the hardest training athletes on earth. And a lot of times we're the ones with the most injuries. And as those have added up, I don't want that to be a reason that I don't look as good as I could on fight night.
Did you tell the UFC brass, hey, I want a retirement fight, let's figure it out? Or did you ultimately, come to the conclusion that this was the fight to take and then afterwards decide, all right, this is the last one?
I've known as I started training that this was, when you train, Ariel, you feel your body out as an athlete. So I just knew I probably could do 3 or 4 more, but I don't know what the state of my shoulder would look like after that. Whereas if I do this one, I still have an arm. I still can throw a baseball. I can still live life. I can go snowboarding if I want. I can climb a ladder. I can, basics. I want to be able to have my life and my body when this is said and done and not just be in shambles with no arms, no legs, no back, no neck. I don't want to be that way.
Was Rob Font your choice, or did they offer you Rob Font? In other words, would you have preferred to retire against someone else?
I mean, I don't want it. That's kind of a rude thing to say for me if I was to say that, because if you've watched Rob Font, he's been around this game forever. He's a very respectable dude. The way he carries himself as a man, I respect that too. He's a good family man, and he's lost and come back. That's one of the hardest things to do in this sport, and he's found a way to continue to be relevant in this sport. He's still in the top 10. He's coming off a strong win, one of his best performances I've ever seen from him, to be honest. And he's got Faraz Sahabi in his corner, and he, like I said, he's ranked top 10. So this is you can't let opportunities pass you by. That was a nice, because of his status and what he's done in the sport, it's a respectable fight for me against a ranked opponent. And of course, I've said it already. I would have rather had a rematch, to be honest, with somebody that I have history and a story with, like Henry. I believe that was a really good fight to have. But, on one end, you got Sean Shelby saying, Henry won't take it. And then when you talk to Ali, you got Ali saying, Shelby didn't want to make it. They like to put old guys with old guys. You know how it is, Dom. So you start hearing two sides of the story from both guys, and you never hear from the fighter themselves. So after a while, you just got to take the opportunities that are given. That's what the UFC offered me, so I took it. UFC isn't going to try to give me some kind of because they like me fight or something. I don't think that exists for very many people, unless you're Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, John Jones, where you bring in, a certain amount of eyes. I think then they'll work with you. But other than that, you just kind of get thrown to the wolves in the UFC.
I heard last week when you were talking to DC and Chael on their show, and you mentioned the Sean Shelby thing, and I wasn't quite sure. You said you thought Sean, you thought it was funny that he put you and Henry on the same card but not fighting each other. Was that, do you think, to annoy Henry, or, for lack of a better word, to annoy you?
That made absolutely. I don't know, man. I don't know if I don't think they care enough about me or Henry to try to annoy us. To be honest, I just don't. But I think that it's good way to create turmoil, right? And this is a drama style sport, so a drama based sport. So Shelby goes, I didn't do that on purpose. It's hard for me to believe that, but who cares? It's here. It is what it is. I can't do anything about it. It's out of my control. They didn't tell me who. When I asked who's the main event, he goes, I don't know. We're working on it. And then one day later, it's that. It's like, come on, man. You knew exactly what's going on, but maybe you didn't. Maybe I'm just making all this up and I'm just crazy, right?
Would you have liked to be the main event?
No.
Why not?
I'm not fighting for a title, so I don't get paid more for that kind of work and the extra 2 rounds. You get $25,000 more. If you think about it, I'm getting a certain amount of money for 3 rounds, and then they're going to add 10 minutes, which is more than half the fight extra, and they're only going to give me, basically 10 grand a round for that. That doesn't add up right to me. So if I'm going to main event, if I'm going to run the whole card and promote it and be the man and have to do all this stuff, hopefully I can get, paid more for that, but I won't. So I'll take the co-main event slot. I'll fight 3 rounds. I make the same amount of money whether I'm on the prelims or whether I'm the main event. They don't pay me more for that other than 25 grand more to be a main event. So you get 25 grand more for 10 minutes more of a fight. And to me, 25 grand isn't worth it. Like a 10-minute fight. Like if you said right now, fight Rob Font for 2 rounds for 25 grand, I'd tell you, no, I'm good. But for some reason, they make you a main event. It's enough. I don't know. It just didn't work that way for me. I've just been in the sport too long. I know how it works. I'm getting paid for the time and the energy I put in the camp. And a 5-round camp versus a 3-round camp is like a 40-hour work week versus an 80-hour work week. It's 2 completely different things, man, on the body.
In the past,
and I don't need the main event. Like it's all good. I am the main event, and I'm not the main event. So at the end of the day,
people's main event.
Well, they needed me to promote Henry. Come on.
In the past, when people have told us in advance that this upcoming fight would be the retirement fight, usually the UFC has a video package ready. How would you feel about something like that? You're in the ring, win or lose, you're speaking to whomever's doing the post-fight interviews that night, and a video package plays in front of everyone. Are you comfortable with something like that?
I kind of don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
Michelle Watterson said, I'm going to retire with this fight, and they had the package, the video, the montage.
Oh.
And then Robbie Lawler, they did it, and they had another one recently too. You know what I'm saying? Like when they're in the ring and they say, we want to play this for you. Rogan says it, and it airs in front, and everyone gets emotional. When someone retires on the spot, they don't have something ready, obviously, so they can't do that. But usually in the last couple of years, and by the way, I think it's a great, nice gesture, but I could maybe see someone like you saying, I don't want that. I don't want that kind of attention. So I was just curious how you would feel about that now that we know this is going to be your retirement fight.
Well, if I'm going to be honest, every fight's my retirement fight because I go in there with the. I know people might roll their eyes at this, but I really go in there with the thought that could be it. Like, I feel like we kind of throw it in the wind that there's a chance we could all die in there. And to me, I don't do that. So every fight for me is my last. That's why I'm always in really good shape. That's why I fight from one bell to the end, because at the end of the day, it takes one shot landing wrong and you're not in a good place. So I don't take that lightly. I don't give any chances. I don't give anything. So every fight for me has been like my last retirement fight. I think saying that it's my retirement fight gives that to other people to hold on to. But that's the mentality I've gone into every fight anyway. So it doesn't really change much for me. If anything, it might, get me to just, think about you're on a run, right? You do long runs, Ariel?
Yeah. A couple miles.
Yeah. Do you ever get to the end of the run and think, okay, let's pick it up. We're almost done.
Yeah.
There's light at the end of the tunnel. Sprint. And then you get to the end and you got nothing left because you sprinted. That's what I'm looking at. Just sprint it out. Sprint it out. Go hard. Don't stop. This isn't lighten up because you're at the end. This is pick it up because you're at the end.
Is there any chance you think you look tremendous in the fight and you're like, nah, I got a few more miles left in me?
You wait to the moment, but I'm looking to be more smart than reactive in this situation, and it all comes down to my body, Ariel.
Yeah.
My body tells me what to do, not my mind. In this one, once you get to a certain place, it's all like, oh, your mind is stronger than your body. Yeah, that's true. For about 20 years in MMA fighting, yes, that's true. And then after a while, you got to start playing the balance game with the mind and the body. And then when that happens, that's why they say it's a young man's sport. A young man doesn't have to do that. A young man's mind is always, it can get through it. But I've got to make sure my body and my mind work in balance so I can get in there and do my job at the highest level. So, yeah, I'm just listening to my body, man. That's it. That's all this is about.
It's been about like 30 months since your last fight, and amazingly, that's not the longest layoff of your career. Obviously, for those that have been watching you for a long time, I think it's actually the third longest layoff of your career. And I wonder if, and you referenced the injuries and your story. We obviously were covering it for a very long time, and it's been a great privilege and pleasure and honor, despite sometimes I think me annoying you, but I know you always loved it. In any event, I do wonder if there's poetic justice in your mind. The fact this guy who was a champion, who had all the injuries and then the re-injuries and all this, you've outlasted everyone from your era. You're the only
Isn't
one
that
left.
funny how that works?
Isn't that amazing?
It's funny.
Do you take
how
some
that works,
solace
isn't
in
it?
that? There's some joy in that?
No, it's just it's a different thing than solace and joy. It's more of like, holy cow, what a trip. There was a time where I thought I wasn't gonna last.
You'd
I
be the
always thought
first
I was.
out, right?
I'll never forget. Like I blew. Yeah, kinda. I had that in my head. Like at certain times, that's what kept me going was letting go of control. But I'll never forget when I called Dana after one of my knee blows out, and he goes, "You have the worst luck of anybody I've ever met in my life." And I'm on the phone and I'm like, okay, thanks, Dana. How is that going to support me right now? What do I do with that information? And he just goes, I don't know. And I go, I know, me neither. So thanks, but I don't think I'm unlucky. You can't think that way. So it doesn't work to think that way. I gamble with my body. I'm not gambling in a game. So if you're gambling with your body, you can't start thinking you're unlucky. So I never really thought that way. I just kind of always stayed one foot in front of the other, having an open mindset that, things will work out if they're supposed to, let go of control. And they did. And as for, everybody else, I think what's funny is looking back and thinking, man, you're so young with all these injuries. You're never going to come back the same. I'm sorry you lost prime years of your career, da, 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 da. But a lot of those people that were saying that or that were watching that are now in the same injuries I am. They were just at a different time. So I think that everybody deals with what I've dealt with. It's going to come when it comes for you in your life at your time. So be ready. Nobody gets out free.
By the way, considering your job, you're sitting there, you're calling all these fights, you've been around the fight game for a long time. I'm wondering if there was any part of you that has seen some situations that are maybe a little tough to digest. It's a guy we love, it's a fighter we love, and you can tell that Father Time has defeated them and they're not who they once were. This doesn't just affect fighters, that affects all of us. We all lose a step, we all
Yes.
get older, etc. Have you ever watched that and said, because you've never been in that position, it's not, you're done by all accounts in a month and a half. Say, I don't want to be that guy with 6-7 losses in a row and everyone's like talking behind my back and feeling sorry for me.
That too, Ariel. That too. That's a reality thing. Some of my favorite legends in the sport have had that happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it to Bisping one time when we were on air on Fox and we almost got in the fight after we got off air. But it was, sometimes it takes more guts to stop than it does to keep going. And when I watch certain careers, that's my premise. And I learn from them. I've learned a lot and I'm grateful for them to take the chances and put their lives on the line so that I can learn that from watching them. And they're still legends to me, whether they lose 10 or not, because the thing about being a legend to me and these guys in the UFC is they're willing to go out there to lose also. When we talk about fans and people who say they can beat up fighters, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to actually put yourself on a public forum and be it, prove it. Because there's a chance that it might not go the way you thought. And that's the thing about the publicity and the public forum of it. When you're fighting in the gym and you're taking juice and you're doing all this stuff and you're a fan and you're like, I could definitely, yeah, because there's nothing to embarrass you for you to think about on the other side of things. So all these guys who put their life on the line, lost 7 in a row, lost 8 in a row, just kept coming back. Yeah, I don't look down on them in any way. I learned from them. And I respect them for being willing to just be so vulnerable. It's a vulnerable place to go out there in that octagon, Ariel. Like, it might not be the word that people think of, but it is. Because at the end of the day, you can have the greatest performance ever, or you can get knocked out. And getting knocked out is a vulnerable feeling. And I think people who talk trash on the outside and people who are not professional prize fighters that think they can fight professional prize fighters, I think those are the Those are the guys that need to understand that humility is what they're missing. And that's what you learn in martial arts when you fight in these stages.
Do you walk away with any regrets?
No. It's been such a crazy road, man. Like I there's absolutely no way I could have guessed that it would go the way it's gone, especially with the TV work, man. I've been doing TV for over 10 years now.
Crazy.
For over a decade, and I've been fighting the whole time. And the funniest thing is listening to people think I'm retired just because I'm working. I've been working a job more than half my career. Almost my entire career, I've had a job while I compete at the highest level. People think that because I'm calling fights that I'm not fighting. I've been fighting the whole time. So I just didn't see myself moving into a job when I became champion. And it's crazy that that's what happens. You become champion, and what happens is you get more work, and then you get a job. And then if you fight, you fight, but you're going to be fighting while you have a job. And that's what's weird. I think that's what happens to a lot of champions that, changes things in their life is, you got a lot of work to do.
Other than the TV work, what will you do?
Man, I got a lot of things I want to do. I want to commend Demetrius Johnson.
Oh yeah,
he's done an amazing job with himself at transitioning and creating something beautiful for himself and his family with entertainment. He's got a really warm personality, so it doesn't surprise me he's successful. Like win, lose, or draw, the guy's just a warm human being, Mm-hmm. So I think that that's translated really well for him, for his YouTube, for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, for podcasts. And, I think that that's just a realm that obviously I'll move into as well when it comes to, I'm already doing ESPN, and I work for the UFC as a private contractor. So that it just all kind of molds into the same forum. Obviously Bisping and DC have done it as well. It's kind of a natural movement that way, but I also have a 10-year plan, and that should, I have very clear intention of folding that out and continuing where I'm at already at the same time. Also giving back to the sport, being in Mexico City with all these youngsters and training with them has really rejuvenated me, being around them. And I love giving back to the sport that's given so much to me. So no doubt I'll be into coaching and all that too.
What's at the top of the 10-year plan?
A facility with like one-stop shop facility, similar to what the UFC PI has going on, would be the goal.
Okay. Dare I ask, would you call it Alliance MMA?
No, that wasn't my. I made not one penny off that deal.
Yeah.
So it was more, Brandon Vera, Eric Del Fiero, a guy named Joel Coombs, and another guy. 4 of them got together, came up with the idea, and I was just growing in the sport at this time. So I put the gym name on my back because these were all my friends, and I loved training there, and they were coaching me, and I put the name on my back because they were my people. They're my family. But I didn't make a penny off that. So no, not Alliance. It'll be called something different.
And I'll let you go in a moment, but just curious because we're talking about the Cejudo fight, and I know you've often said that you didn't agree with the stoppage. You were there on Saturday. A couple days later, I find the discussion around the Curtis Kopylov fight to be fascinating because, as you know, referees don't look at the clock, right? They shouldn't look at the clock. You need to ref whether there's a second left or 4:59 left. And then if you look at how that last round went, and once you get the scorecards, you see it was 1-1 heading into the third on all 3 judges' scorecards. And I think with the stoppage, with the knockdown, Kopylov wins the fight, and yet Curtis and his team are very upset. And so you're there, you're taking it all in. You do a tremendous job as always. Knowing that now that it was 1-1 and he probably wins that round despite it being a second, and I do not begrudge Curtis or his team in the moment for being pissed. Like there's literally a second left. Holy crap. How do you feel about Mark Smith's decision?
Well, I actually, one of the things I want to give credit to Mark Smith about is he's one of the few refs that comes up to me after every show and asks for feedback.
Wow.
To improve.
Wow.
Literally. He says, hey, how can I improve? How could I have done that better? And he came up to me after that fight and said, Dom, what do you think?
Wow.
And I said, if that was me, I would have been pissed off at you and wanted to kill you too, man. There's 1 second left on the clock. And I think him stopping and walking off threw you off. And he said, Fair, yeah. It threw me off. But I never, when you come from a responsible place like that, like he does, and you take responsibility and you're really looking for feedback, nobody bashes that guy. That's just living life, and you're growing, and he's trying to get better, and I get that. But yeah, it wasn't. I don't think that was the best way to handle it. And refs mess up, and they're humans, and there's human error in the process. I think that you can't do much about that. But that's kind of my point. We go back to where I was saying before. There's a lot of people that are held accountable for these vulnerable situations, and it's usually just the fighter. Like if there's a mess up from the ref, there's no accountability on that. It's just the fighter loses all their money and loses everything, and nothing happens to the ref or the judges. They just go on to the next thing. There's no, you've done all right. Like, what if the refs did 6 bad fights in a row and the judges did 7 bad fights in a row, and everybody knows it? So they're going to go on to 8. They're going to go on to 9. They're going to go. There's no way there's no accountability for them, and there's only accountability for us, and not just accountability, but everybody's going to talk trash. You got the rest of your career. You lost half your purse. You lost your opportunity to move up in line. Everything. We lose everything from that mistake.
Yep.
Everything. So that's what's hard for a guy like Curtis, and that's what's hard for me in my situation. And the difference with me and the whole Keith Peterson thing is, I don't hate the guy. It's just that I want some sort of like accountability for the mistakes sometimes, because we get ripped so hard. Like, I lost a huge opportunity there. Like, that was part of the fight, is to get hurt and to keep coming back. And that was, I know it wasn't pretty, but I expected the fight to go that way. And so when you stop it with a second left and I'm on my feet, I was mad because in the back, I had to reset the man and say, hey, can you redo this all again? Because you're not looking him in the eyes. And are you good? And in the back, if you have to tell the ref, are you good? Are you here with me while I'm getting ready to fight? There's already something off. And I felt that in the back with him. And so when he went out there and had that performance and messed up, after I told him, don't stop this under any circumstance. Are you here with me? Are you listening to me? And he wasn't there. He wasn't there in the back. And that's the thing nobody in the world saw. They only see the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see me holding him accountable before the fight saying, hey, don't mess this up. I need you to let this fight go. Things might get dirty. I might get dropped. I'm going to need you to let this go. I'm going to be all right. And then he stops it with 1 second left and does the complete opposite what I say. That's why I went after him, because I warned him, don't do that. And he did it anyways because he got shook. If you watch the fight, Henry's looking at him, begging him to stop the fight. If you watch me versus Mizugaki and you watch Henry versus me, they're two different people. Me versus Mizugaki, I'm going to punch Mizugaki's head through the fence until he can't breathe anymore. Henry's begging for somebody to stop the fight, because if we go to the next round, you got another hard, miserable round with me. I'll rip your toenails off before I'll quit. So it's a tactic to look at the ref and go, hey, don't make me hurt this person. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for the ref to save me. I don't need you. Stay out of my fight. I'm good. If I die, I die. That's what I'm here to do. I already put that on the line. So all that was tied into my emotions of the Keith Peterson thing. And I could totally get Curtis, because I'm sure he has a similar mindset. We had a lot of money on the line. Our entire life's work is put into those moments. And when a ref can go in there and just go, oh, you look bad. Like, dude, you don't know what I'm ready for. You don't know how much beating I'm ready to take. Because why? Because you don't do it. So it's just hard, because there's no real accountability. They can just keep messing up and messing up and messing up and messing up and messing up. And we lose all our money and all our opportunities. The refs, the judges, they're a separate entity. They don't care.
Have you seen Keith? Have you guys talked? Have you seen him in person?
Oh yeah, I've shook his hand plenty of times, but it doesn't change that there's I'm holding the accountability just the same way accountability's been held on me. You went, oh, you shouldn't have put yourself in that situation, Dom. Agreed. I got caught. I got hit. Shouldn't have been there. Okay. Well, there's another side to that too. The refs got to do their job. And what do they tell you in the back? Well, you needed to be defending yourself at all times, and you need to be trying to work your way up, and then we'll keep the fight going. I did my part.
I always enjoy these chats. I love these chats, Dom. I hope if you do stop fighting, that we can still speak. Could we still be friends? Could we still chat? You know what I know?
I told you already. What did I tell you? Say it. Tell everybody. What did I tell you?
Well, you know what? I respect off the record conversation, so I don't know what's on. To me, a text is always off the record. So you tell them, because I don't know what's.
All right. Well, I told you that if we ever want to talk, we're friends, and we don't have to just do it here.
Yeah, that's true.
We can talk separate from here without you getting something from it. If you're really my friend, you don't need to have this whole interaction for your show. We can just talk separate, and you get nothing from it other than knowing me. And so you can talk to me anytime you want, Ariel. You just got to reach out. And it doesn't need to be this big show where you get, Ariel got Dominick Cruz. Ariel got all these famous people on his show because he's awesome.
No, that's not what it is. But you know what?
Good.
I did. It warmed my heart. I looked at your Instagram today. I saw that one of your pinned posts was our chat after the TJ win, which is still to this day my favorite interaction ever with a fighter after a fight. Like that one answer, greatest moment of your life. Greatest moment of my life was when I realized I didn't need the belt to be happy. That meant a lot, and it has nothing to do with me, but it's a moment that I remember with great, great fondness. I could put myself right back there, and I remember the feeling that washed over my body when you said it. And I'm glad to see, at least based on what a pinned post on Instagram means, I'm glad to see it meant something to you as well.
Of course, man. It was just real. I wasn't saying it to say it for anything. It was off the cuff. And I was very in a raw emotional state at that time. It was a crazy moment. So
amazing.
Thanks for the question.
Thanks for the time, Dom. Much love. Good luck in the final month and a half left of this perhaps final training camp, it sounds like. Thank you for always being so kind and gracious, and tremendous work with the broadcasting and the analyst work. And I hope that you do start a YouTube channel and do all the other stuff that all the other guys are doing. It's great.
Yeah, I will be doing all that. It's coming for you, fans. Thank you for asking.
All right. I could be a guest too on your show if you want. If you need me, just let me know.
You guys all heard it.
Yeah, there it is. Anytime. I owe you like 1,000 interviews, so it's the least I can do. Thank you, Dom.
I look forward to it. We'll have you on soon.
You're the man. Buddy. All right, there he is, the great Dominick Cruz, returning to action. One final walk, February 22nd in Seattle. The main event, of course, is Song Yadong against Henry Cejudo. So it's there's a whole bunch of other, right? A whole bunch of other fights that have been announced. Rob Font, Curtis Blades, Edson Barbosa, Steve Garcia. We went through all of this.
Yeah, I think the whole card's out.
Yeah, it's all out.
Michael Chiesa versus TBA.
That's on there, huh? Wow. No, it's not on there. On the UFC.com site, it's not on there.
They put it on when they made the social.
Oh, okay. By the way, we talked earlier about PFL, Bellator, all that stuff. They just announced PFL Road to Dubai Champion Series. First time they've labeled it as such. On the 25th of January, will in fact air on Max here in the U.S. So peace and love. But I've never seen the logo, and I've never seen it called PFL Road to Dubai Championship Series, Champion Series. The Bellator logo is on the belt, and it does say Bellator Lightweight Champion. So let's see. Developing story. We'll see how that all turns out. I am so excited to say hello to our next guest joining us in studio. Let's not waste any more time. He is the indie god. He's the deathmatch king. He's the internet champion. He's the complete. He's the agent. Is he there? Oh, my God. Matt Cardona. What's happening?
How are you? What's going on, man?
Great to meet you.
Great to see you. What's going on? All right, look at this.
Welcome to the main event.
I'm here. I'm the main event. Wow.
You are.
Oh, look, I can see myself right here.
At you.
I look
yes.
good.
Look, you do look fantastic, by the way.
This is a great studio. I love it.
Take it all in.
I'm taking it in. I see you got a lot of figures.
Yeah.
Can I start with the cheap plug?
Yes.
I got a little gift for you.
Oh my God! Right off the bat.
Right off the little cheap plug. Right off the bat. You know, I have my own toy company,
yes.
Major.
Major Bendy's?
Major is the company we make Major Bendy's big rubber guys. I have a gift for you, a big rubber guy.
Oh my God, the American dream.
Holy Dusty Rhodes.
This is incredible.
You could open it up. You could let him breathe.
Can I open it up?
It's resealable packaging, so do what you want. Yeah, look at that.
Resealable. Is that a thing?
It's a thing now.
Did you create that?
Well, we didn't. We stole it from somebody. We borrowed it.
Who?
Well, there's other company. Hey,
okay.
But by the way, this is the first one ever. No one has this except for you.
You're kidding.
I have it. You know, my partners have it, but you're number one.
Yo. Can I tell you the emotions that are going through my body right now for multiple reasons?
Okay.
First of all, this is fantastic. And you also even have...
You gotta smell it.
Wow. Yo. No, seriously. Yo, you even have the birthmark.
That's right.
Yo, this is unbelievable.
Thank you.
Look at this.
Check it out.
Can I tell you something, Matt? You know why I'm so excited for multiple reasons to speak to you? This is from the heart. I used to be an avid LJN collector.
I never grew out of it.
I know. And we will talk about that. I had legit maybe 50, 60.
Yeah.
And I had the ring and everything.
Sure.
I grew up in Montreal.
Yep.
Bret Hart right there was my favorite.
there he
He was my guy. And when we moved houses, the only thing my mom has ever given away were my LJNs.
Oh.
She gave them away.
Oh my God, Mom, what are you doing?
And I played with them so much. You will know this. They would get the marks on
Sure,
them
all
and stuff.
scuffed up.
And the paint would come off.
Yes.
And so I don't know if I've touched this. This feels like LJN.
It feels right, just like it. And that we call the big rubber guys because everyone called them, oh, I had those big rubber guys back in the 80s.
Oh.
So
I feel like I'm 8 years old right now.
that's what it's all. I have goosebumps right now hearing that story.
No, seriously.
It's the nostalgia. We can't go back in time.
This means so much to
Oh,
me.
thank you. No, hey,
Putting this
thank
right
you.
here.
Oh, look at that front and center, baby.
Look at Dusty. Wow.
But we can't go in a DeLorean and go back in time.
Yes.
So with the toys, it's like you just felt it, right? I mean, you feel like
Literally.
you're a kid again. Those happy times, whether you're a fan or whatever toy you're playing with. In our case, it's wrestling toys. But I just never grew out of it. And I just want to spread that to everybody. So I'm glad you're the first one to have it. I'm glad you liked it.
This is your room, by the way. Right
Oh,
here.
there it is.
Courtesy
Look at
of
that.
Yahoo Lifestyle a few years back.
Yes.
Is it the same room or have you moved?
I am moving right now, getting a bigger toy room.
Look at you.
Because right now I have that room that I've outgrew.
Okay.
My garage is a storage unit. And I have a storage unit that's a storage unit. So
all with toys.
All with toys. It's bad.
Not just wrestling though.
Not just mostly wrestling, but there's all stuff from my childhood, 80s, 90s, Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Turtles, stuff I grew up on, stuff I love.
What percentage is wrestling?
I'd say 70% wrestling.
Okay. Yeah. And you have LJNs there.
Oh, have LJ. Oh yeah, baby.
They don't produce them though, right?
They don't anymore, no. So that's why.
Why did they stop?
They stopped. They lost the license in the 80s. Then they made the little Hasbro guys. Remember the ones in the 90s?
Didn't like them.
You didn't like those?
I didn't like. No, LJN is.
Well, LJN's number one.
Yes,
for sure.
yes.
But I.
How would
grew
you
up-
rank them? LJN. There's Hasbro. There's Mattel.
The current Mattels are the best of all time.
Really?
But I have no nostalgia towards those. I still collect them. I see you got a Natty behind you.
Yeah. So Natty actually signed that.
Yeah.
So these are like a lot thinner and they move and
Yeah,
stuff.
they have the articulation.
Right,
and now
right.
There's like the interchangeable hands and heads, and it's great. But I want the big rubber guy.
Yes,
You
yes.
just bang them together. You know what I'm saying? It's too complicated now.
So with this, is this the same exact like designer supplier that or like?
No, we got it as close as possible. We tried our best, so it's as close as
Who
possible.
makes it? Like who made this?
We did.
No, like who's the actual? Where is this being produced?
So we have a whole team of people. I say whole team. There's like 5 or 6 of us.
Wow.
We come up with the concepts. We go and sign the talent. Right. We have a designer. And then we have a 3D designer. And then we send it to China. We get the prototype. We critique it. And we get a figure in like 6 to 8 months.
That's unbelievable.
So,
when
yeah.
did you start this?
We started about 4 years ago. We started with these little bendy guys, and then we had the big rubber guys. So we're trying to, hey, I think we need some MMA big rubber guys.
Yes,
What do you think?
yes. Does there was a company? Have you heard of? So I love all this.
Yes,
You see this
for sure.
There's a company called Round 5. These guys.
Oh, those are great. Yeah.
Shale.
Yeah.
Round 5 was like the first.
Those are cool.
Here, touch it.
Yeah.
And they stopped. Like in 2012, 2013, they stopped. And there's no one really making great MMA toys.
Well, I mean, ours will be in like poses, no articulation, but I think we can do it.
You don't like articulation?
No, I do, but I like the big rubber.
You like the
There's so
nostalgia.
much
Yes.
articulation going on. Like now with Mattel, there's all these different points.
much.
There's too much, in my opinion.
Right.
Even for a kid, it's complicated.
Yes.
How many interchangeable hands do you need for a kid?
So what do you think?
I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah. So what do you think? Have you looked into MMA?
We would certainly do it. Right now, our wrestling is our
into business?
forte. Well, we should do it. We should do it.
Wow.
I'll give you a little cut.
How does this work? Like, how doesn't Dusty or his family have a Legends deal?
So we went through the family. We went through the Dusty Foundation.
Right.
So it's all official. No bootleg
Yeah,
stuff
of
here.
course.
So anyone who doesn't have a Legends deal, anyone who doesn't work for WWE or AEW, we can make. So up and coming indie guys or girls, Legends who don't have a WWE deal, we try to make everybody. But we're expanding. We got some big things planned for 2025, like I'm just gonna say 80s action stars, stuff like that, some movies and stuff like that. But we love MMA. We would love anything really.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling is just our bread and butter.
Sure.
We started.
I saw the site. We have a sort of like a screen record
Okay,
of the
cool.
site, and I was surprised at some of the names. We're going to show it here in a second. I was surprised at some of the names that were on there. Like,
Look at that.
okay, so like you have like Arn Anderson, Rick Martel, he doesn't have a Legends deal?
Rick Martel hasn't had a figure in over a decade.
Wow, look at this. Look at some of these.
Missy Hyatt hasn't had a figure ever in 40 years in the business. Never had a figure.
Wow.
So we get to do that for them. And then selfishly, for us, I want a Missy Hyatt figure. I want a new Rick Martel.
Yeah.
And then, they never made Arn Anderson back in the day for the LJN. So to make guys like that, and then, of course, we'll redo guys. We'll make a cooler Macho Man or something like that. So
Rick Martel, can he be the model?
He's the model right now.
Even though it's a WWE gimmick?
Well, we'll just call him Rick Martel.
Does he have the arrogance?
He has the arrogance.
Oh,
he
my
does.
God. This is amazing.
He has the sweater, removable sweater.
Yes.
The arrogance. Oh, yeah.
How many guys do you have signed, guys and gals?
Ooh, I'd say we probably made close to 100 so far, And they're not like forever deals.
Sure.
And they're not exclusive either. Go make your money somewhere else, too. We're not tying you down.
Right.
We just want to make you some extra money. Because I'm a wrestler at heart, too. I wouldn't sign an exclusive deal.
Yeah.
But so sign with us and then go sign a Legends deal, too. And make double the money.
and where can I buy this?
Collectmajor.com. This is an exclusive. This will be a WrestleCon exclusive Royal Rumble weekend. Only 800 made, so now $799.
Wow, what an honor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Can you go to like Target or Kmart?
That's the goal. That's the dream. I don't think we'll ever get in there with the wrestling because there's already Mattel with the WWE, Jazzers with the AEW. But that's why we want to do maybe the MMA, maybe, like I said, the 80s, 90s, movie lines, because you ever go to Target or Walmart, they have like the adult section of the toys.
Yes.
I think we could sneak in there with stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Are you more passionate about this than actual wrestling?
No, wrestling's my number one.
Okay.
I mean, this is a great side hustle.
Yeah.
Right? I'm very passionate about it, but I mean, wrestling, it's my number one.
Obviously, we know that you've been into this stuff for a long time, but where does the idea come to actually make a business out of it?
So we started, myself and Brian Myers, we started the Major Wrestling Figure podcast while we were in WWE.
It's a great listen.
I
enjoy it very much.
I appreciate
love this shit. Honestly, I really do.
Thank you so much. And then one of the guys, Mike Kinnick, he was a fan of ours, and he was making like our pins or our foam fingers. So I think I can make you guys toys. I said, bro, if you can figure out how to talk to China and make this work, we'll cut you in. And lo and behold, he did. We have a great team of people who help us out, who design it, 3D sculpting. We have this guy, Dylan. He's like, oh, well, Dusty didn't wear that color boots in that match. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
and then
love that.
Ryan, our designer, Brian Beatty, our sculptor. It's just incredible stuff.
Can you live off of this? Is it that successful or not quite yet?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
That's the goal, but I'm not done lacing up the boots
Yeah,
yet,
no.
baby.
I'm
You know
not
what
trying to
saying?
retire you. In fact, you have a massive match coming up next Sunday.
Yes, Hammerstein Ballroom, baby, New York City.
Yo, you
GCW.
dropped an amazing promo yesterday on
man.
Twitter.
I appreciate that.
I retweeted. I'm playing it. We're gonna play it in a moment.
Oh,
we can't
cool.
play the sound.
It's a little too long.
No, but
yeah.
also the music. We're gonna get demonetized.
Yeah, we don't
with
want
YouTube.
demonetization.
By the way, I saw you do the breakdown of WrestleMania 32.
Yeah.
How do you get away with using all that footage?
I don't know.
Okay, we won't bring it up. No, I just because we always get demonetized here. Anyway, this is tremendous stuff. This is you like walking up to some? It's just amazing. Go check it out on YouTube.
Yeah.
I retweeted it.
Thank you so much.
Do you shoot this all on your own?
So
Or
I
does
had some people who helped me out.
But my thing is like you're so indie minded, like dating back to your time in WWE with the YouTube show. Are you making your own promos or is
yes,
GCW?
This is all me, all funded by me. Yeah, I have people who help me out. Obviously, I didn't edit that. I didn't film that.
Of course.
Dom,
But
my friend Dom,
GCW isn't paying.
They are not.
Wow.
No, they're not. But that's okay, because I want to invest in myself. If I don't invest in myself, no one else is going to. If I don't treat this Hammerstein Ballroom show like it's the biggest show of my career, then it's not. You know what I'm saying? And I want to do everything I can to promote it. And all that, that was my life story. It wasn't a storyline.
Right.
I grew up backyard wrestling. I went to Nassau Coliseum as a fan. I got to wrestle there. I went to Madison Square Garden as a fan. I got to wrestle there. Those buildings were amazing. But Hammerstein Ballroom, when we went there for GCW a few years ago, that's where I truly realized, Zack Ryder needed to die for Matt Cardona to live. And now we're coming back there. Man, our backs are against the wall, and we're going to prove everybody wrong. But I don't care about proving people wrong. I want to prove
yourself.
That's right.
Right.
Prove myself right. Prove our fans right. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I don't want to, be fueled by negativity in any way.
So I believe you to a degree, but can I push back a little bit?
Please do.
Here you are. You're killing it on the indie scene. You're the indie god. You're the deathmatch king. All that stuff. It's almost 5 years now since you left WWE.
Mm-hmm.
You're better than a lot of these guys that I see on TV, man, and you're more over than a lot of these guys. I have a hard time believing that as passionate as you are about the business, Rick, do you want to do something? Yeah. You're going to fix his mic?
Uh-oh, sorry.
What's happening? Higher up. Okay, they want to hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Is that better? Rick, you good?
Do I need to get closer?
You look like he was leaning down. We wanted to get
Oh, make you
Okay,
comfortable.
okay.
As passionate as you are about this business, you don't sit at home and be like, that should be me.
Let me put it this way. Like, I don't care how you define success. I've said this before. Money, accolades, happiness. I am the most successful I've ever been in my career right now. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't want another WrestleMania moment or to wrestle at Madison Square Garden or to be on SmackDown with my wife. Of course I do. You know, I don't think I've deserved anything. I hate the word deserved. I think I've earned the opportunity to go back. And I don't feel like it's being cocky to say that if my music hit the Royal Rumble, whether it be Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona, the place would explode.
Yes.
The roof would go off the place. Social media would explode. I'd move merch. Like, I know that. I haven't been offered anything.
So why doesn't it happen? Why haven't you been offered? Do you have any inclination?
I do not know. There's been communication, very cordial, but there's been no offer, and that's fine. I can't, live my life like, oh my God, are they going to call me back? But if they do, it's a catchphrase, but it's the way I live my life. I'm always ready. I've worked my ass off for 5 years to reinvent myself. I truly believe that I have. I truly believe I changed the game. I would love to go back if the circumstances were correct.
Do you think it's personal?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so one bit.
Because, I know that there's politics and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So do you think there's someone back there who's blocking you from
I don't think so.
back?
I think it's all timing, right? You got right place, right time. And that's why I am always ready. It started as like, oh yeah, I'll put that on my trunks because at the time in WWE, I get it thrown a bone every once in a while, but I couldn't just sit on the sidelines. And then if they want to use me, if I'm out of shape or if I don't look at $1 million, that's on me, right? So that's where I came with this always ready thing. Like no matter what opportunity comes my way, you got to be always ready. And it happened before in WWE, like the Intercontinental title match, like we just talked about, WrestleMania 32.
Yeah,
I wasn't supposed to be in that match, And then one day, I just happened to have a kick-ass match before Raw started on one of those shows that they syndicate. Looked like $1 million. Vince McMahon was watching and said, why aren't we doing something with that guy? A few weeks later, I'm in the WrestleMania match. I end up winning. You know what I'm saying? So this business is all about timing and being ready when that opportunity presents itself.
So I want great things for my career, for my show, for my broadcasting career, right? My wife doesn't work in this world. So when I go home frustrated, she consoles me and then we talk about something else. Your wife is in this world and she's in the place you would like to be one day and she's thriving.
First ever women's United States champion.
One of our own, one of Canada's own.
That's right.
Yes, very proud of her.
We're going to visit in a couple weeks.
Ontario?
Victoria,
BC.
Yes, that's right.
There she is. The U.S. champ.
Very beautiful. Look at that
Chelsea
shirt.
Green. That's tremendous.
I wonder who
merch right
designed
there.
that for her.
Do you design her merch? Well done. And that's a beautiful tweet from there, from her right there. I've waited 10 years for this graphic. Very, very happy for her. And she has defied the odds too because she was let go and then came back and all that stuff.
Yes.
How do you separate that? That's your wife. You're over the moon, but you'd like to be there with her too.
So, when she got the call back, we were thriving together on the indies, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a question like, should you go back without? You had to go back. Because at the time, she was there. She was in WWE, but only had a little taste. Did some NXT stuff. Was on like Raw or SmackDown a couple times. So it wasn't really there. I'm like, you have to go back. You have to experience it. Now, look, the whole world knows how good she is. I go and support her. I'm her biggest fan. When she won the tag team titles, I was there. I couldn't be there for the U.S. title. I was wrestling. I was doing a GCW show in L.A. But, when I'm watching, of course, I want to be there with her. Like, we barely see each other. Like, we saw each other last week
at the airport. Yes, I saw her tweet this.
Yes.
Is that legit? Right there?
That's it. Yeah, and I'll see her next Monday. Yeah, because she's in England doing stuff for Netflix right now.
Wow.
So then I have indie shows. I have the Hammerstein Ballroom. I'll come home Monday. She'll be there. So I'd love to be there with her. Whether we're on camera or not, I think we're better together. But I want to be there not just because she's there. Like, I want to be there because I belong there. Right. I know I belong there.
But we are human beings. You're a human being. And so I'm just wondering how you come to terms with your wife being where you want to be and you, I don't want to say can't be there.
I will admit, like, for instance, watching her at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting in like the press box or Money in the Bank and I'm sitting there watching. Of course, I'm super proud. But of course, parts of me like, I should be there. But not, I should be there and not her.
Right.
I should be there also.
Okay, so there's no jealousy.
No, 0%.
There's no resentment or anything
no
like
way.
That. Okay.
But
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's hard, right?
I don't know if a lot of people would be that way,
also,
to be honest.
I've been there.
Right.
Been there, done that. Could be different if I was never there, But luckily I was, fortunately I was, and I'm so grateful for that time. So I'm able to support her. But of course, I want to be there as well. And so many guys and girls who leave WWE want to go back. but would they make a difference? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I truly believe I would. That's why I really do think I should go back.
Do you feel like your career, and I hate to put it this way, but I'm just curious if you feel this way, will feel incomplete if you don't get to end on your own terms?
No. And even when I got fired from WWE, I knew I was going to get fired because we got a little message from Vince McMahon, like a general like video saying this is right. The pandemic just started.
Yeah, April, right?
Yes, April 15th, 2020.
Wow.
Best day of my life.
Tax day.
So I'm in all these group texts with my friends, like, I'm getting fired. I'm like, oh God, like, when is it going to be me? Because the year prior, AEW was starting up, and WWE, I don't know if it was because of this, I think it was. They offered everyone brand new deals with a lot more money, and I didn't sign it because I didn't know if I wanted to stay or go. Because I'd been there for so long, ups and downs, roller coaster ride. I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay. Ultimately, the decision was made for me a year later, when I got fired. But I knew I was getting fired because I got a text message from Talent Relations, please call us. Well, what am I calling for?
Right.
And this is going to sound cheesy, but I went right to this painting of my dad and I at WrestleMania 32. A fan, Rob Schamberg, made this great painting of a picture of us hugging. And I looked at that and I took the call and I smiled and got fired, because I knew everything was going to be okay. If it all ended that day, everything was fine. But it didn't end.
Right.
Because I knew that wasn't going to be, that might be the end of Zack Ryder, but it was the beginning of Matt Cardona.
A couple follow-ups. Do you regret not taking that deal that was offered a year prior?
Well, I might have got a little more money, but I probably would have got fired anyway.
Okay. So they could still fight, even if you had 2 years left. They could still...
Yeah. I don't regret it. I don't regret it one bit. I mean, I joke, I guess I would have gotten a little more money for that year, but I would have been on that list regardless, for sure.
Why do you think so?
Because my partner was, a bunch of guys in that kind of limbo spot were.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you say you look at the painting, you take the call with a smile.
Yeah.
Do you not have a day or two of mourning?
No.
No.
I knew right away. Like, I already had my pro wrestling tee stores ready to go. Once that Vince McMahon message went, I said, it's coming today. So I had all my graphics ready. I said, let's go. Let's start this right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't lick your wounds. Didn't feel sorry for yourself.
No, not one bit.
How's that possible?
Because I got to experience the highest of highs,
right?
Like, yes, there were some bad times getting pushed off the stage in a wheelchair by Kane, which, by the way, made the USA Greatest Moments of Raw. So I'm proud of that.
Congrats.
But I mean, look, childhood dream to be a WWE superstar. I did it. I had the action figures. I wrestled at MSG, won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. Like, I did everything I ever wanted to do. So I can't, have anything but like good feelings about that.
So what motivates you now? So if you did it, you reached the mountaintop, right?
Yeah.
Why do you hustle the way in which you do? Because I feel like you hustle more than anyone on the indie scene,
I feel like
right?
I do as well.
Yes, because you don't. Your mentality is, I'm not just showing up to wrestle. I'm showing up for a meet and greet, for a signing, for merch. You set your table up.
Right.
You do everything and then some, and then you promote it and you post stuff on social media. I see you were in Maine last night. You're doing this.
Yes.
So what drives you to do all of that when you've actually reached the mountaintop already?
When I first got fired, I knew my mentality could not be, what can I do to get back there? Or what can I do to get to AEW? It couldn't be that. I needed to work on reinventing myself. And again, I keep saying it, proving myself right, not people wrong. And I feel like I've done that. It's 5 years. But I feel like now is the time, AEW or WWE. I've done it all in the indies and more than once. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been all over the world, won all these, if you want to count titles, if you want to count accolades, Independent Wrestler of the Year 3 times in a row, cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, the only independent wrestler to ever do it. Like, I've done all that stuff. Am I going to be on the cover again? Am I going to win the NWA World title again? Am I going to win the GCW World title again? Like, I did it all. It's time to go to one of the main companies for sure.
Do you think that people thought Zack Ryder, because that's what you were known as when you were released, would just kind of like, mid-card guy who would fizzle off?
Yes, 100%.
They had no hope for you.
No hope.
You'd be one of the million who have been cut.
Maybe change my name to different spelling, do the same thing, Honky Tonk Man style. Yes, 100%.
You felt that and you wanted to prove everyone in this regard wrong. I know prove yourself right, but like there had to have been a chip on your shoulder, right?
There was more motivation, not so much a chip on my shoulder, because I knew I could do more. I knew I wasn't finished. And it took a while to figure out who I was. I didn't know who I was, right? So I get fired, it's the pandemic. There are no independents. I literally can't work anywhere. AEW, did some with AEW, a cup of coffee there, it didn't work out. Now what, There was nowhere to go. Luckily, Impact Wrestling, they picked me up. I went there, I got my feet wet there, got comfortable there in my own skin. But I'm just Matt Cardona. Who is Matt Cardona? I didn't even know. And I was doing independent. The world opened up. I'm doing independence, but I'm still like, okay, so I'm not doing the woo. But what makes Matt Cardona different than Zack Ryder, right? And I got this call to do this death match in GCW. And by death match, for those who don't know, this is glass pizza cutters.
Legit.
Like legit. It's a death match.
Yeah.
And it was against Nick Gage, who had just been on the show Dark Side of the Ring for almost killing David Arquette. And my knee-jerk reaction was, no way. I'm not wrestling this. This guy's in jail, drug. No way I'm wrestling this guy in a death match. I took a step back. I said, everyone's going to want to watch this. This is exactly what I need to do. And I did the match, and it trended because now with social media and the internet and streaming, it trended #1 over the UFC and Olympics that night. An independent wrestling show in Atlantic City, New Jersey, because everyone wanted to see Zack Ryder get carved up by Nick Gage. Then I end up winning, right? I win the match, and I did not anticipate how much buzz it was going to create. I did not anticipate that it would change my career and change my life, and it truly has. That night, everything changed from that match.
Why?
Because now I go to these indie shows, and it's not like, oh, that's Zack Ryder. It's like a couple, maybe 25%, like, oh, I don't like this guy. Next, then people are seeing that. And the next week, and more people hating me. A couple months later, I'm getting booed out of buildings, middle fingers in my face, and I absolutely loved it.
Why were you the heel? Why were you the heel?
I was just doing Matt Cardona in GCW, and they didn't want that. They didn't want a WWE guy there. I had good gear. I worked out. I took my diet seriously. I'm walking into this place. They didn't respect me. They didn't want me. But the hatred that they had for me, it spread. And it spread everywhere I went. And like, this is what I need. This is what Matt Cardona needed, just to be the asshole. Just to be the guy that I kind of wanted to be in WWE at the end, but you don't create your own story. You can pitch stuff all day.
Right.
I always wanted to turn heel. You don't get that opportunity in WWE all the time. A lot of my ideas did work. Some didn't. Some did. That is what it is. But on the independents, I control everything. So like, I essentially turned heel, and it worked.
The footage is completely gruesome.
We can't play that.
Yes, I'm just wondering, like, what was the worst injury? Like, there was stuff in your back, right? Wasn't there glass in your back?
Believe it or not, GCW doesn't have a medical team.
Oh, wow, shocker! Yeah.
So I go through glass, pizza cutter, light tubes. Now I'm covered in blood, and I knew I was gonna bleed. I anticipated it, so I wore like all white gear. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be cool. I have a couple trickles of blood. My white shirt was maroon. It was covered in blood. I get to the back. There was this nurse back there cleaning up my back, taking out the glass. She did like this Frankenstein stitch job on my back. Told me, don't worry, it's dissolvable. They were not dissolvable.
Oh, no.
They got infected. There was still glass in there. A month or so later, there was glass like coming out of my back. I had to get it removed. I literally have the battle scars right now, but I wouldn't change anything. Like, it was the greatest night in my career besides that Intercontinental title ladder match.
Yeah.
And really, depending on what day you talk to me, they go back and forth.
Do you think that you are this successful, if not for that match?
I don't think so.
Wow.
I think GCW put Matt Cardona on the map. I, in turn, also think Matt Cardona put GCW on the map. Because now look at all the top guys who want to come to GCW. Guys like Jon Moxley, Jeff Jarrett, Nick Nemeth, JBL, Chris Jericho was just there, Bully Ray. They weren't coming there before Matt Cardona made it cool.
Right.
GCW is the place to be. If someone leaves WWE or AEW, GCW right away. That wasn't always the case.
Who owns GCW?
Brett Lauderdale.
One guy?
One guy. He's a one man. I don't know how he does it. He does he'll send you your flight the day before. He'll send you your hotel the day of. But he works around the clock. He busts his ass. Even for this Hammerstein show coming up, he was outside all the AEW shows handing out flyers.
Wow.
Promoting. The man on the street.
Hustling.
So, say what you want about him, but he's a hard-working motherfucker.
And just to show for the audience how much of a hustler you are, and I say that in the most kind way.
Yes.
I read and I heard you speak that afterwards you cut up your T-shirt, right?
Oh my God!
And sold it and made like 20,000, putting it in plaques.
So I'm a fan at heart, right? So I had this shirt, and I'm like, what can I do with this? What am I going to put it on eBay or
covered in blood?
Covered in blood,
drenched. So
I remembered as a kid, the WrestleMania plaques.
Yes.
Piece of the canvas, a nice 8x10 signature. I contacted that company, the same as that company. I explained what I wanted. Can we do this? I think we made like 250, a little piece of the bloody shirt. And I let them know it's blood, wear gloves, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I made 20 grand on that. And then since then, I think there's 5 different action figures based off that match. So that's
Wow.
even more money coming in just from the one match.
So you get to do all this. You get to pick your schedule. You get to turn heel if you want to.
Yes.
You're really your own head writer, right?
Exactly.
No one's telling you what to do, what to say, where to be.
No.
Is there a part of you that thinks if you get the call, you're not able to make these decisions?
100%. Like right now, I know exactly. If I want to do your show, I'm doing your show.
Yeah.
If I don't want to do your show, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I make my schedule, which is when I was in WWE, I got signed when I was 20 years old. Right. So like that's all I knew my whole life. Like you have to be here. Okay, I'm there.
Yeah.
This is your flight. Okay. Wait, I can choose what flight I want.
Yeah.
I can choose to be off this week. I wasn't used to that. And not saying I was handcuffed, which is that's just what I knew for 15 years, my whole adult life. So I love making my own schedule. I love saying yes or no to things. I love, you know what? I'm going to take a weekend off. I'm going to go to Disneyland. You know, stuff I wasn't able to do. And I see it now with Chelsea, my wife. Like she gets called in last minute to go here or called in last minute to not go there. I'm like, I don't miss that.
Yeah.
But it comes to the territory, you know?
So you're okay with that?
I'm okay with it,
Okay.
yes.
You know, I wonder, obviously the best movie ever made on this world was The Wrestler,
Yes.
right? I wonder just if you ever have moments where you're sitting in a place that is the antithesis of Madison Square Garden. I've heard you reference, actually, you do this in a lot of interviews, by the way. I like to consume.
Yes.
You always reference the Ukrainian
Cultural Center, Los Angeles.
You always reference that, by the way. Do you have moments when you're sitting in the Ukrainian Cultural Center? I hope it's still standing.
It's still standing.
Good to hear. Where you're like, what?
Okay.
How did I end up here?
Let's go back to the Ukrainian Cultural Center.
Okay.
Let's put a pin in that. So there are certainly this weekend was a great weekend. Columbus, Ohio did GCW. Last night, Limitless in Maine made a lot of money on merch. Had great matches. Like this is a weekend. You know what? I love being an indie wrestler. I love it. There are certainly weekends where I'm like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I hate this. I'm a failure. Of course, you take the good with the bad. And back to the Ukrainian Cultural Center, the atmosphere in that, I don't want to say arena,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Like those fans are diehards. I've had some of my greatest like indie moments in there. The locker room is a legit alley. If you're coming to park, you'll see us all changing through the fence.
Wow.
It's an alley. So if it's cold, we were just there in December, freezing cold. We're out there changing. You know, if you want to see Matt Cardona taking a piss between two dumpsters, just park next to the Ukrainian Cultural Center. You'll see it.
Wow. That is, and like your ego can handle this?
It can, yes. Listen, there are certainly times, like I said, like when I just did AEW for a couple weeks. I'm like, oh my God, wait, I can take a shower after my match? There's a locker room? Wait, there's catering? Like, I almost like forgot that I was in WWE and forgot I was in that environment for so long. I've just like dove headfirst in this indie world where even the AEW shows I did, I'm like, oh my God, like a real arena. Like, this is great.
Yes.
You know, so I certainly miss stuff like that. 100%. I don't like not showering after my matches.
Sure.
Especially Ukrainian Cultural Center. I'm usually taking a red eye to East
God.
Coast to another show. I'm going coast to coast, no shower.
Come on.
Yeah, no shower.
Where? Not in the airport or something?
So if I fly American, I get into the American lounge, has a shower. Yeah. There's one time I did the show in LA, right? Then I had to go to Philly for a convention. And it was in the ECW arena. And they were also having a match tonight. So I flew to LA, from LA to Philly, no shower. Did the convention, met all these fans with no shower. I'm like, I'll just shower in between before the show. There was no shower at the ECW arena. So I did the LA show, no shower. The convention, meet and greet, no shower. Then had the match, no shower. Finally showered that night in Philly. It was like, you should have saw what was coming off my body.
Okay, can I ask you a question? I mean, I think you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Book a hotel just to take the shower. I could have book $100 hotel.
I didn't have enough time in between.
No?
It was right into it. I didn't have enough time. I would have. Yes, I would have.
You're not that cheap, are you?
No, I'm not.
I don't know if I could sit on the plane for 5 hours without showering.
Well, usually, if it's a red eye,
it's even worse.
And that show is 8 p.m. And then these indie shows go 4 or 5 hours. Even if I tell Brett from GC, hey, you got to put me on first so I can get out of there, I'm still cutting it close. No time to shower at a hotel.
So that movie, for those that have seen it, how similar is it to the life that...
I think it was very authentic to the time. I think things have changed a bit.
Okay.
Because now with social media and these streaming things, you're not just doing a show in front of whatever, 200, 500, 5,000. The whole world can potentially see it. So it's not as bad as they made it seem, because you can make real money if you're hustling. You could become a star if you're hustling. You can make a name for yourself if you're hustling. Right. If you're just going and phoning it in, you're not going to make money. You're going to be nothing. you know. But if you put in the work, the money's there, the opportunities are there. There's more wrestling shows than ever. Wrestling is so hot right now. AEW, WWE, TNA. It's on television or streaming every single night of the week. There's independent wrestling shows all over the world every weekend. Like, there is no shortage of work. If you work your ass off, you will get paid. You will get money. And it might not be a lot of money, but crumbs make crumb cake. Go sell a t-shirt.
Sure.
Go sell an action figure. Go sell a sticker, an autograph, whatever. It all adds up.
So that's the thing that blows me away about you and impresses me. On most of these cards, you're the biggest star, right? And
Most of the time.
And you're the guy sitting there selling, and you have no ego when it comes to this.
None. So, like, this happened last night. Limitless Wrestling. It was myself, Smart Mark Sterling, who works for AEW. He's the producer of the Major Wrestling Favorite podcast with us. It was us and two other guys selling merch before the show. I'm thinking, I'm the guy who doesn't need this money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? Why aren't you selling the merch? In my opinion, the merch table is more important than the match. Yes, to make the money, but to make the connection with the audience.
Yeah.
It's all about the connection. I'm not saying don't have a good match, but if the fans aren't invested in you, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
So why do you think these guys don't do it, some of them?
I think they're just so focused on having this good match.
Right.
And like I said, I'm not saying have a bad match, but you need to make this connection. And then some people are like, oh, I'm a heel. I can't go out there. I'm the ultimate heel.
Yeah, who
I'm
cares?
out there. You know, it's 2025.
Yeah.
People know the deal. But if you could go out there and be a heel and be a dick and make them hate you, so when you go out, you get booed. Just be out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Either to make money or make a connection one way or the other.
How much stuff are you traveling with? Like, when
We
you
got a lot of stuff. I got a whole gimmick bag of stuff.
Really?
We have our own toys, foam fingers, sticker. You name it. I have paper crowns. I'm the Deathmatch King. I have
you
it
do
all.
this all by yourself?
All by myself.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I got the fanny pack full of cash, taking the money. You know, the credit card reader. I got it all.
Oh my goodness.
And I love it. I love it. You know, because I'm a fan at heart. You know what I'm saying? I was the guy at an autograph signing. I was on the other side of the table meeting my favorites. So now it's cool to, when someone comes up and tells me, I can tell when someone is there and they're invested and they're so happy to be there, or when they're nervous. And I relate to that. I love it.
Do you watch the other products, the AEW?
I watch
WWE?
everything.
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 You don't
have
miss it.
to.
Why do you have to?
Because you need to know what everyone else is doing. You need to be one step ahead of everybody. You know
What's
what
your
I'm saying?
favorite thing right now in
I
wrestling?
think right now, my favorite thing, how could you deny WWE on Netflix is not the biggest deal ever?
Right.
I mean,
did you watch on Monday?
I did.
And what was that like for you to
Of course, I wish I was there. I wish I was a part of it, but I had to, whether, I was a little angry about it or not that I wasn't there. I had to watch. Yeah, this is, okay.
Huge.
This is how wrestling is going.
Right.
This is historic. You have to watch it. And the fan in me wanted to watch it too.
What do you think of The Rock's promo?
I think this was more to get the general audience involved. I saw the complaints online that he kind of went against everything with Cody, but like this, I think this was to get everybody what is WWE? Okay, they've been watching Netflix. They've had this graphic for the whole week. What is this? Let me tune in. So I think it was a great way to introduce the product to everybody.
Okay, so you didn't think it was like sacrilegious that they broke the fourth wall?
And The Rock even said the next day he's 20 steps ahead or whatever. He said something like that. So
yeah, he did a great job.
I'm sure there's a plan.
The Hogan booing. Were you surprised?
Listen, Hogan was my guy as a kid. Obviously, I do not condone the stuff that he's done, and he got booed out of the place. So I mean, it's been all over social media, right? Like,
do you think they use him again?
I think they will. But
Yeah.
Maybe take a couple weeks off.
Who headlines WrestleMania in your opinion?
It's got to be Cody, right? I mean, he's the
Versus?
guy.
That's the question.
Man, I would have said Cody Rock, but now after that promo, I'm not sure. Does Cena win the Rumble? Is it Cody? I just love that there's so many possibilities. As a fan, there's so many. Does Matt Cardona come back? Screw my friend over? It's possible, right? Anything could happen.
Is it happening? Are there any talks? But it's such a no-brainer.
The story writes itself.
Has there ever been a time where you thought it's happening? Was there ever any talks where it was like, I think it might be happening?
No, because I've never.
Where they sent out a feeler.
There's been communication, but no offer in any way. And listen, every year I've had gear ready for the Royal Rumble. Every year.
Make it. You make it for the Rumble?
I always have it just in case.
Wow.
You never know.
Did you make for this year?
I have it just in case. Well, I've had it for the past couple.
Sure. Okay, yeah. And it still fits?
It still fits.
Yes.
I've gotten bigger, but not that much bigger.
What are you doing February 1st?
I will be there for WrestleCon.
Oh,
your Dusty Rhodes.
You're going to be in town.
I'll be there anyway.
Oh, my God.
And I'll probably have the gear because I'm always ready.
If they call you and say you come back, but it has to be a Zack Ryder, how do you feel about that?
I think everybody wants Matt Cardona, not Zack Ryder. I'm so grateful and proud of what I did and accomplished as Zack Ryder. I mean, with Z True Long Island Story, the YouTube show I started in 2011, like we could talk hours just talk about that. That's probably one of the things I'm most proud of my career. Like the company saw me a certain way. I said, well, that's not how I see myself. And I'm going to get over. And I was one of the first people on social media, started the YouTube, one of the first wrestlers who, because I was a kid at the time, I was 25. Like my friends were on Facebook. Instagram wasn't even out yet. Twitter just started. Like, I was like, if I can blend Matt Cardona, the person, with Zack Ryder, the character, I can relate with the audience because they just see me as the guy who loses in 3 minutes and does woo, woo, woo.
Right.
I'm a fan just like them. I like Star Wars. I like Ghostbusters. Like my girlfriend just broke up with me. My dad's annoying. My friends from I let them in on all that. And that's what won them over. Without the fans, I would have been released from WWE 2012, 2013. They built Zack Ryder and the fans built Matt Cardona post WWE. So I almost feel like it might sound cheesy, but I got to go back for the fans. I think they deserve it. I've earned the opportunity, but they deserve it.
Wow. Who came up with Zack Ryder?
So Brian Myers and I, we started wrestling school together, NYWC, Long Island, New York, 2003, and we hated each other. Legit, because we're 18 years old. We kind of look the same build. We're each other's competition, right? But then they put us together as a tag team. Like, I don't want to team with this guy. I don't want to be in a tag team. And then somehow we found out we both collected wrestling figures.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And it broke the ice. And he's been my ride or die, my road wife for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So like,
but the name, who came up with?
So when we get to WWE or their developmental system at the time, they put us together. They call us the Major Brothers. I was Brett Major. He was Brian Major. Because I was Brett Matthews on the Indies. He was Brian Myers, his real name. So we're the Major Brothers. We get to WWE. We're the Major Brothers. It's not working. It's not clicking. And we knew that because we knew we wanted to be like this 80s throwback tag team that was so annoying that we'd get booed. But they used this as a babyface. I'm like, this isn't going to work in 2007. And it didn't. It just didn't work. So we had this idea to be with Edge, to be like his little minions. You remember the show Entourage?
Yeah.
Like that was a big show at the time, and we loved watching it. We wanted him, Edge, to be like the Vinny Chase, and we'd be his little entourage. And we pitched it to Adam, to Edge, and he loved it. And he ran with it. And he didn't need us. We were these two guys sitting in catering. But he brought us under his wing, and we debuted with him. We helped him win the World Heavyweight title as his Edge heads. And then the next day or 2 days later at the production meeting, Vince McMahon realized we weren't really brothers. It's like, oh, we got to call them their real names, but not their real names. They're fake real names.
Right.
So we had hours to come up with names. Zach is from Zach Morris.
Oh,
and
wow.
I don't even agree. Me a bunch of first names and a bunch of last names and put them together. What would pass through legal? I don't even know where Ryder came from, but that's where the Zach came from.
You were a big Saved by the Bell guy.
Big Saved by the Bell guy.
Wow.
Huge.
Saturday mornings.
Have you ever
met him?
I've never met Mark Paul Gosselaar. Met Mr. Belding, met Mario Lopez, but never met Mark Paul. So Mark Paul, if you're watching, I'd love to meet you.
Fortunately, Screech.
Yes,
no longer.
We never met him either.
Yeah. I think he was a wrestling, or did he do like celebrity boxing or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so it's probably for the best because if they would have, maybe not. If they would have called you Matt Cardona, you could still use that name because it's your name, right? They can't trademark your own name.
Right.
And so why? Okay, so you mentioned AEW. Yeah. What's the story there? How is it possible? Why did they bring you in? You smash it. What, like you had like 3 matches for them or something?
So in the very beginning, I came in. I helped Cody. We had a tag match which we won, a pay-per-view match. I had like 3 shirts, 2 matches. Never got a call.
What's the story there?
I don't know. To this day, I don't know.
You don't ask someone like, "Yo, what's up?"
Of course, I was like, I was told the contract's coming. It never. After a while, I'm like, it's not coming. That's when I went to Impact. A few years later, I got the call to wrestle Adam Copeland, my absolute dream match. He is my guy, not only because of the Edge heads, he was the guy I looked up to growing up. We had that one match. I thought we killed it. Nothing. Okay, fine. I'll keep doing my indie thing. A month or so ago, I got called, hey, do you want to wrestle Chris Jericho and Hammerstead Bolton? Hell yes, I do.
Ring of Honor, right?
A Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Another guy I grew up idolizing. We do the weeks of TV, getting great reactions in-house, social media, best-selling shirt of the week, killer match at Hammerstein Ballroom. Nothing.
When you're back there, you don't talk to Tony or any of the agents to be like, yo, what's the story here, guys?
I'm just going week by week. Yeah, that's how I live my life. I'm going week, but I can't. There's so much going on in my head. I can't think, a couple sets ahead about like, what am I going to do next weekend? Like, I need to make every single instance the best possible thing, and that's just where my focus lies on that particular thing. And even Dave Meltzer reported I got a contract.
No way.
Sorry, Dave, you're wrong. I didn't get one.
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
I don't. Hey, maybe I got lost in the mail. I don't know.
Would you like a contract with them? Would you be open to it?
Of course. I mean, I love my time there. Even this past time in December, I love it there. I think it's a great company. I think it's great for the business. I think everybody's working their ass off there. But everything has to be the right situation. But I wasn't offered anything.
Some of the AEW fans think that I hate AEW,
Yeah.
that I root against them. It's the most bizarre thing because I've never said anything negative really
Right.
about the product other than saying I wasn't a huge fan of my interview with Tony. I thought, and maybe that was my fault too.
Sure.
Maybe I did a bad job on that day. But I think it's so healthy and good for the business for a competitor.
It's the number one. Like I said, I was in WWE. They offered everyone all this money just because AEW started. I can't prove that, but I mean, come on, just
Sure,
do
of course.
the math.
Yeah.
It's so
But
great
it
for
also,
the
I think it raises WWE's game.
100%.
Right?
And the jobs it's created for so many wrestlers, and not just wrestlers, people who work in the business,
Producers, yes.
People who make the gear, everybody, the doctors, the trainers, everybody, production. It's done great things for the business. Anyone who's rooting against AEW or WWE or anybody, it's like, are you really a wrestling fan? I question if you are.
So then why is it so tribal? Why is there so much hatred online?
I'll
and
never
toxicity?
understand. I see it. Trust me, I see it.
It's crazy.
I don't support it one bit.
Why do you think it is? Is it just like my team's better than your team? That type of stuff?
I'm sure you see some hateful stuff on social media.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes.
What's wrong with these people?
I don't know. Because to your point, if you're a wrestling fan, watch it all. Enjoy it all. Sure, there might be gimmicks or stories or matches or guys you don't like, but I don't understand this whole venom towards one organization or the other.
I can totally understand liking one over the other, but like you said, I don't like the venom, just the hatred. Like there's wrestling every single night of the week. Like there's merchandise everywhere. There's toys everywhere. No matter how deep you are into wrestling, it's there for you. It's at your fingertips, literally. Like, what's there to hate about?
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
The other one I don't get also is Scott D'Amore. I love
Scott.
He revitalized TNA.
Totally did, yeah.
And then they got rid of him.
Listen, I wasn't there for that. I don't know exactly what happened. I love Scott. I love working for Scott. I was just texting him this morning about espresso martinis.
Really?
Yeah.
What? You like him?
I love him.
In the morning?
No.
Okay.
No. He was in Orlando, but I was in Maine, so I couldn't meet him.
Okay, got it.
But I love Scott.
Any
and he's
chance
doing great.
We see you Maple Leaf?
Well, he's been
Pro
texting me
wrestling?
for some dates, so we'll see. I'd love to
that.
work there. I was pleasantly surprised by their first shows.
Mauro Ranallo on the mic. He's a legend. It looked great, right?
Listen, I wasn't expecting the worst thing ever, but I was not how good it was. I was blown away.
Yes.
He did a great job.
He's a great mind.
Yes.
You're a great mind. You have great fans, and in fact, I saw via your social media, one of your fans. Is this legit? Is this a shoot?
Okay, let me hear it.
Wants to smell your farts. Is this true? What is going on here? You posted an email.
It was the most.
Here it is. Good morning, Mr. Cardona. This has taken me 7 years for me to say. This has taken a lot of courage for me to say, sir. I always love the usage of sir throughout this message. But my name is Will. I'm a 26-year-old bodybuilder from Tampa, Florida. I've spent 7 years watching your content. It's very motivating and inspiring. But I just wanted to say, I really want to worship your muscles and smell your farts. Sir, I've thought about your farts every hour of every day for 7 years. I think about what they smell like and what they sound like constantly, Matt. Even when I was in college, I graduated, but I had time to study focusing because I kept thinking about your farts. On and on it goes about your farts.
First of all, you didn't stutter. I'm very impressed with that. That was
I was
great.
going fast.
You're a pro. Listen, I got that email. It was so ridiculous. I had to just post it.
Legit, you think?
You never know. Listen, I do this show every Monday. Well, not today because I'm here, but it's called Whatnot. It's like a live auction thing. And last week I was doing it, right? Because I'm selling my figures, ring-worn stuff, whatever. And someone kept saying, sell your underwear, sell your underwear. I'm like, sell my underwear? I'm like, all right, well, I looked down. I actually like the underwear I was wearing. I got it from Universal in Tokyo. I'm like, no, I want this. But I'm like, if I go upstairs, will you buy for $200? I brought it down. They bought it, $200 for my underwear. Yeah. Something I bought at Target. Worn.
These
washed, but
fans.
Hey.
Did you write back to this person?
I did not write back to that person. No, I did not.
What do you think? Do you think it was real?
Honestly, 50-50. Yeah.
By the way, if that guy is being serious and he sees you post the message, do you think he's now embarrassed?
Maybe not. I mean, we know his name's Will, right?
Yeah.
No last name though. So
sure.
Yeah.
If someone came up to you at a show and said this to you, what would you say? No thanks.
Well, how do you sell someone a fart? Do you fart in a jar? Like, what do you do?
Would you consider? Because I feel like
100% would. Yeah. 100%. I sold the underwear and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I would do it. Yeah.
Did you get a lot of weird stuff like this?
I mean, that every once in a while I get something weird. That's the weirdest, the most weird I've ever got. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Prior to your wife,
Yeah.
did you never date a pro wrestler?
I dated one, didn't work out. And I told myself, I'm never dating a pro wrestler again. And then it was actually Cody and Brandy Rhodes.
Right.
They introduced us. They were doing TNA at the time, which was down in, they were filming Universal in Orlando. I live in Orlando. I was there with I just tore my patella tendon. I was there eating dinner with them, and Brandy's like, oh, there's this girl, Chelsea. She keeps complaining about being single. I'm like, don't tell her about me.
No thanks. Why?
We went on, because I just didn't want to date someone in the business again. For so long, I went without doing it. I dated someone in the business. Well, that's why you don't do it, right? And then, we go on one date, then we're texting each other, calling each other, going on another date. Next thing you know, her toothbrush is there. Next thing you know, we're married. We got 3 dogs, 3 cats. I mean, it worked out in this situation.
And so here you are, and I'm assuming you can sometimes go to her shows. Can she ever go to your shows?
Like as a fan?
Yeah, like
100%. Yeah,
she comes to those.
Yeah,
she could be seen at some of these indie shows.
I think so. I've never. So the only show I don't like to go to her shows because I don't want to linger backstage at WWE.
You don't want to be that guy.
Absolutely not. So when she won the tag team titles, John Cohn, who works for talent relations there, I hope I don't get him in trouble. He's a friend of mine. I texted him. I said, "Let me know the segment before, sneak me in so I can watch from the crowd and get me out of there." I don't want to be the guy. Listen, I was there for 15 years. I saw all the old timers coming back, lingering, trying to get their job back, and I don't want anyone thinking that's what he's doing there. So I never want to be seen backstage. Every time I go see Chelsea, I'm in like a press box upstairs, away from everything. It's not about me. I don't want the attention. I don't want to be, politicking. I don't want people thinking I'm politicking. I just want to be there to support her.
What about the symbolism of her winning the U.S. title at freaking Nassau Coliseum, where you grew up, right?
Wearing the one-legged tights, the Zack Ryder style.
Wow.
We are the first, couple to win the United States title. I mean, she's the first champion, but I was the U.S. champion. Listen, super proud of her. My family was there rooting her on.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It was, like I said, I was doing GCW in L.A., so I couldn't be there. But she flew to L.A. the next day. We went to Disneyland and celebrated. But it was great to, I don't know the word to use, but beautiful that she won the title in my hometown arena.
Why is the product so much better now than it was a couple of years ago?
I think it's just so hot. I think the fans, they've been just wanting a change, and they can see it on the TV, and they support it even more. And now with like social media and all it all comes, it's everything, right? Like the shows are better. There's more merchandise so people can like show their fandom, like it's cool to be a wrestling fan again. And I just love it. Why?
I have a theory.
Okay.
I mean, Triple H is what? Late 40s, early 50s? Something like that?
He knows what he's doing. It's obvious.
Comparing him to a guy in his mid-70s, he's on the ball. He knows
he's on the ball.
Right?
He's definitely
There's
on the
a
ball.
drastic difference between him at the helm and Vince at the helm.
I've never worked. I was only there under the Vince. Triple H, of course, had power, but it's obvious, like you said, watching the product. It's fun. There's callbacks. There's reasons for things. Things don't get forgotten. The fans want to be rewarded for watching. So if something's like, oh, that happened a couple weeks ago, now they're bringing it back. They love that stuff. They love like watching. You see someone in the background like during a pre-tape.
Brilliant. The Bloodline thing has been brilliant.
It's been great.
I don't think it can happen in the Vince era, the Bloodline story, with that many details and intricacies.
There's so many swerves, and you never know where they're going. That's what makes wrestling fun, right?
Is it done, the Bloodline story, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I mean, The Rock now, is he a good guy now? Like what side is he on? Like I think. And there's more guys that haven't even come up to the main roster yet. I think it continues forever.
Did you ever have a relationship or working relationship in any way, shape, or form with Heyman?
Not really. No.
How come?
So he was there when I was there, but he was just like Brock's advocate.
Okay.
When I did the WWE, ECW, who was already gone. So it was of course I've talked to the man, of course I respect him. I grew up, loving ECW, of course, but I was never, had a close relationship with him.
Okay.
Paul, if you want to talk.
Yeah, Paul's the man.
I love you, Paul. Yeah, let's do it.
Can I tell you, I got to be really backstage once.
Okay.
In Montreal Elimination Chamber. This was Sami Zayn against Roman Reigns a couple years ago when he was red hot. He just turned on Roman.
Yeah.
And they invited me to come. I'm from Montreal.
Sure.
The city means a lot. It felt like an event I wanted to be at. And Paul said I can come. Heyman said, "Oh, come backstage." I've always been fascinated with wrestling. Wrestling was the first thing I ever loved.
Right.
WWF was the first thing I loved as a 5-year-old, and I'd never been backstage really. And so he said, "Come backstage for SmackDown." And so I came, and someone like you, I came wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't know what's going on.
Right.
So Paul's sitting in Gorilla. I've heard about Gorilla, but I've never been to Gorilla. Here I am, like, wow, this is incredible. This is like storied, right? And he says to me, and he's like, just stick with me and follow me throughout the night, and we'll see where this goes. One thing leads to next. He says to Paul Levesque, Ariel's from Montreal. He's a big sports fan. He could put all this into context. You should throw him in the crowd. He'll do a segment for you. And then Michael Cole sends it to him, and he sends it back. And then 4 hours later, I'm on SmackDown.
So you were always ready.
I was always ready, like you. It was one of the most fun experiences of my life, because the next day I came back and just got to observe. I didn't do anything, but just seeing how everything ran backstage.
It's crazy.
This was also the time where Tony Khan took a shot at me on social media and called me a hack journalist. And the best part about it was every worker came up to me and like, I felt like I was one of the boys. They were like, Tony took a shot at you? Fuck yeah. I was like, wow, look at me. I made it. To see what goes on behind the scenes is like, it is a fantasy world. I loved it's so much fun. But I can imagine it being extremely stressful as well, 100%. Because your fate and your destiny is in the hands of others.
Also, in a live TV environment, I've been, in the ring, you got 2 minutes cut, or you got 2 minutes added, or your match is cut. How
do you find out? The ref tells you?
The ref.
In the middle of the match?
Yes. So that happens all the time. Like, let's say you go to Raw, and it might be different now. I haven't been there in 5 years. Let's say you have an 8-minute match. Okay, well, how much time am I going to have when it's up to the match? Because things go over. It's live TV. Might be different now with Netflix. I'm not sure. So things might be a little different now.
But have you ever had a situation where you felt like you were going this way, and then it all gets taken away from you? Meaning,
like storyline wise?
Yeah, like you just felt like,
yeah, 100%.
And it's all and it's no fault of your own, but it's just the business, the politics of wrestling.
So bringing up that YouTube show, I start that particular year, 2011. I'm a nobody. I'm literally like on Raw, already in the ring, getting killed by somebody. I start the YouTube show in February. End of the year, Madison Square Garden is chanting for me during a Rock promo.
Oh yeah.
I end the year as the United States champion. Like, I'm one of the top merch. It's working. I'm clicking on all cylinders. A couple of months later, like, Kane is pushing me off the stage in a wheelchair. And like, literally all my hard work was going down the toilet. But I blame myself for that. I never wanted to say I got buried. And maybe during that time, if you look at old tweets, maybe pull it up, maybe I was saying stuff like that. But now I've matured. I've realized I should have just knocked on Vince McMahon's door and said, hey, Vince, what are we doing here? I didn't do that. So I blame myself.
Why didn't you do it?
Immaturity, intimidated, and maybe I was
his door open? Like, could you knock, or is that frowned upon?
Certainly could have. You certainly could have. But I grew up idolizing this company and this man. So to me, he was super intimidating. Not only was my boss, he's this guy like, your whole life, you see this guy, you hear stories about this guy. So I think I probably 26, 27 at the time. I think I was immature. I think I was intimidated. But I blame myself for all of the things that went down at that time. Like, I could have easily knocked on Vince's door. Hey, Vince, I've been working my ass off. One of the top 3 or 5 merch sellers. What are we doing here? Where's this going? Mm-hmm. I didn't do that, so I blame myself. I never wanted to be one of those old guys, bitter. So-and-so buried me. So-and-so held me down. F that. I want to take all the accountability.
When you've sort of come to see what has happened to Vince and all these stories coming out, your reaction to this?
Man, I mean, listen, obviously I didn't witness anything. And I saw the documentary. I've seen all the allegations. All the allegations are disturbing, to say the least. So we'll see what happens. But like, oh my God, right? I mean, we've all read it. It's crazy, crazy stuff. And if proven true, then wow, right?
What do you think of the doc?
I'm a diehard wrestling fan, so nothing seemed like new to me. And I get it. It wasn't for the diehards like me and you. It's for the casuals. I thought it was entertaining. I watched it. How could you not if you're a wrestling fan?
Right. How many years do you think you have left?
Well, I'm in my 21st year in the business now.
Jeez Louise.
It's crazy. I started when I was 18. Had my first match 2004. But I don't feel like I've missed a beat. Like my style, I feel like I keep going forever. Right? I say that now. I'm about to be 40. I feel like I haven't missed a beat in the ring. I feel like I can keep going. I feel like I look the best I've ever looked. I feel like I'm really at the top of my game. And now, like, you see guys like Jericho, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage at the top of their game, older than me, 10 years older than me. It's inspiring. Dustin Rhodes, even John Cena, The Rock, like literally at the top of the game, haven't missed a beat, looking like $1 million. I love that opportunity is there, and that's what's so beautiful about pro wrestling. I think like age is just a number. And like when you watch 2 guys on the screen, you're not thinking, well, this guy's this all, like you're not thinking like that. You're thinking, I love this guy or I hate this guy.
Right.
So I would love the opportunity to go back to WWE and be the guy that people hate, because they never have to see that.
it would be amazing because you get to come back as yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Obviously, you're maybe like a tuned-up version
Sure.
of yourself. And I would highly suggest, you've done a ton of interviews, so I don't want to go through your whole story, but overcoming cancer in high school.
yeah.
And that's what gets you into wrestling, right? Just being out of school for a year?
No, so I love wrestling from...
Even before that?
Oh, my God. Earliest memories loving wrestling. 1 year, my dad claims he took me to WrestleMania 2, which I don't think he did because I wouldn't have been one yet. But from that
That's
age,
the blue cage, Bundy versus Hogan.
I mean, it was Long Island, Nassau Coliseum.
Yes.
Obsessed my whole life. Obsessed. Like, whether it be with the wrestling figures or having the backyard wrestling, I was obsessed with wrestling. Unfortunately, I had cancer in 10th, 11th grade. And it sounds cliche, but I knew I had to, like, beat this. So I can't, like... be a pro wrestler if I'm dead. You know, I can't be a pro wrestler if they've like amputate my foot. Like I have to beat this. And luckily I did. And it might sound cliche, but that's what kept me going because that time going through the chemo, the surgeries, it sucked. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It sucked. But yeah, I've loved wrestling since I was a baby. Obsessed.
You've got to come back.
You said it.
You've got to you're so easy to root for, man. And I could think of so many great storylines there. And I think it's going to happen. We saw it with Drew. We saw it with Cody. You reinvent yourself. There's got to be there's going to be that opening. I feel it.
I feel like the timing has to be right. I'm 40 years old, almost 40. But like I said, age is just a number. I haven't missed a beat in the ring. Definitely got better in the ring since I was in WWE. I've learned so much as a performer, as a man. I feel like I truly understand this business, everything about it, the business side and the wrestling side, being on the independents. And like I said, I hate the word deserve. I don't think I deserve to be back, but I think I've worked my ass off, and I believe I've earned an opportunity. An opportunity. If I go out there and I shit the bed, get rid of me. If I go out there and nobody gives a damn, get rid of me. I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, let's end on the toys again.
Okay.
Greatest LJN.
My favorite LJN is Macho Man because, he's like this.
Yeah, is it the pink tights?
Pink tights.
With the 3 stars on the back.
That's right.
Love that.
Because he can do the elbow drop, and he's also doing double by. And he can do a lefty elbow, righty elbow, depending on the side,
Okay. And so, like, if I wanted to buy that, are they even
They're out there. Now, if you want to, like, in package,
impossible.
A lot of money.
Like, what are we talking?
You probably get a Macho Man. Well, do you want the package to be like mint?
Nah, I'm okay if it's like...
It's 500-ish. 500-ish.
Wow.
Now, but there's like some like you're from Canada, so you had this whole like line, like the black cards. There was a whole line that just went to Canada.
What's black cards?
Bro.
We
can have a whole other conversation.
What are you talking about? What's
There's
black
this
card?
whole last set that like it's like just like a Canada thing or through magazines.
Of LJNs?
Of LJNs.
What do you mean through magazines?
Like through like wrestling magazines, like mail orders. So there's got like Warlord, Big Boss
sick.
Man, all this.
Really?
Like, as a kid, I had no idea they existed because I wasn't reading.
Yes,
I didn't live in Canada.
Wow.
So it wasn't until like I got the internet or went to comic book stores or like my grandma found me a Haku at a garage sale in 1992. I'm like, Haku? They made Haku? What?
Yeah.
So now with the big rubber guys, like so right now, you can go on our website right now, get a Macho Man. It'll be in your house. I'll send you a Macho Man.
No, listen.
Yeah, but like we do like a pre-order model where like the pre-order is the order. So like this month, you have Arn, Tully, Missy, Rick Martel. However many are ordered, that's what we make.
Okay.
But then we have a couple guys like Macho Man. He's always in stock. We're doing a Ric Flair, always in stock. So if you're a new fan, new collector, you go to our site. You can get the Macho Man. He's at your house a couple days.
Flair doesn't have a Legends deal?
Flair does not have a Legends deal. You'd be surprised. Macho Man does not. Guys like Andre the Giant, Road Warrior, Sergeant Slaughter, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
What about Brett?
Brett does. We would love to make Brett. We would love to make
Anvil?
Brett. Anvil does too. Yeah.
Those are my guys.
Anyone who doesn't have one, we try to get, And, we're paying them pretty well, so they like being working with the major company.
Yo, LJN, they used to sell them at the pharmacy next to my house.
Yeah.
I remember the rainbow logo, right? And those things, man, they were unbelievable.
It's honestly the best.
And this is I've never seen, I swear to God, I feel like I'm 8 just looking at this.
Well, that's the feeling we're going for.
You give this to Dustin?
Of course, we get Cody. Yes,
Dustin. Yes,
we try to get Cody. We try to get Dustin, but he still has an AEW deal because we saw those rumors online. He wasn't re-signed. I'm like,
oh yes,
we want to get you, but he signed, and good for him. He should. He's having the time of his career there.
Okay, so Macho Man. What else? What is on the top?
Ooh,
there was one. You know who I loved? Okay, so I had a Bobby the Brain.
He's a great one.
I had a Miss Elizabeth.
Okay.
Did you have?
Well, did you have the gold skirt or the purple skirt?
It was like sparkly.
Yeah.
God, how do you even know that? That's crazy. There was a Vince, right?
There's a Vince. Yep.
Hogan, there was one. Did he have like white tights?
There's a white tights where he's in the t-shirt.
Yes,
Yep,
yes.
yep, yep.
Didn't love that one because I
Didn't
felt
love
like
that
he wasn't white tights guy.
No,
Only at the very beginning.
Yes, they repainted him later, so he's got the correct
Yes.
tights. Yeah.
Kamala, I think you
Kamala's
paid
great.
11,000 for a Kamala.
That's for a Hasbro Kamala. I did pay 11,000. I thought we were going to talk.
No, 11,000.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's an unreleased sample where like they changed the paint on his stomach, so it's like an alternate paint on his stomach, and there's only like
it wasn't the moon and all that.
It's the moon is the one that I have. The final production run is a star and not the moon.
Oh,
yeah, it's called Moon Belly Kamala.
So how many are?
So I think there's like 12 or 24. I don't know. That's the rumored number because it was only a sample production run.
Okay.
So I have one of those. Yeah.
I had a Hercules.
Hercules is great.
Man.
Yeah, I'll say we just signed Hercules to Big Rubber. I'll give you a little inside scoop. We signed him for Big Rubber Guys. Hercules,
Wow.
Yeah.
So you go through his family?
Yep. Yeah,
because he's no longer with us, right?
Family. Yeah.
Is it generally easy if they're not with WWE?
9 times out of 10, yes. It's when they get that first check, they want more figures.
They want, okay. So it's worthwhile for them.
Yes, for sure.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Man. So I just want to tell everyone, you've got the company that we're talking about. We showed the website. You got the podcast, Major Wrestling Figure Podcast.
Thank you.
You got so is it just that YouTube channel? Or you have another one as well?
I have my Matt Cardona YouTube channel, youtube.com/@the Cardona. But the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast.
Major Pod merch.
Yeah. We had so much. We could plug
clothing. Plug it all.
Plug it all.
Tees.
Really, GCW, Hammerstein Ball.
Ah, that's the one.
Yeah, New York City. I'm like,
there it is.
There it is.
Where are you wrestling, by the way?
That's a great. This match has been snake bit. They're like legit. There's so many internal like planned matches that have gotten cut for different reasons. I legitimately do not know who.
Call
I'm
someone
wrestling.
out. Who do you want? Who do you want?
I want John Cena.
You want John? If Cena wins, we riot, right?
Well, last time when I was there, they had if Cardona wins, we riot. Last time we did GCW.
Yes.
I don't know who it's going to be. All I know is that I have spent a lot of money on my entrance.
You legit right now don't know?
Not a
shoot.
Shoot. I'm not bullshitting yet. Do not know.
When do you think you'll find out?
I think I'll find out that day. And
sick.
GCW, it's not like GCW's. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know. There's been so many people put in that spot for one reason or another. They've gotten taken out of that spot. Let's see who it is. It doesn't
because
matter.
AEW's not letting their guys go?
Well, that was maybe
Ricky
the one
Starks,
thing.
right?
It was supposed to wrestle Ricky Starks. I don't know exactly what happened with that. I read all the rumors about it. He's no longer in the match. So we'll see who shows up Saturday.
Were you at the American Dream show?
I was there. Yep.
I was there the day before.
Yeah.
I was walking around with my kids and I see a GCW ring in the middle.
It was awesome.
Was it fun?
It was so much fun. It was so much fun.
It was like WCW. Were people into it?
They were so into it. Yeah.
Did you have to buy a ticket to sit there?
Yep. I think at the tippy top you can come and watch, but there were certain seats, certain levels with seats. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This Sunday, Hammerstein Ballroom. I mean, there's still tickets available. Not many, but come see Matt
what does it
Cardona.
draw?
I think there's 1,500 people there. It's it looks bigger than it really is. I think there's only 1,500 tickets.
And are you the main?
I'm not the main.
Who's the main?
Mance Warner will be defending his GCW world title against either Ali or Effie. Who's it going to be? In my heart, I'm the main event.
Okay.
You know, my parents will certainly come to see me. But I'm the main event in my dad's mind, you know.
Josh Barnett?
Josh Barnett
He's on there
he's
too.
another open challenge too. Maybe we accept each other's open challenge.
Have you ever wrestled Josh?
I have not. We've been talking about it. Matt Cardona Bloodsport debut. What do you think?
I would love that.
I think I would love it too, but I would need some proper MMA training. I wouldn't want to make a mockery of myself or MMA. I'd want to take it very, very seriously. Josh and I have talked about it. I think sometime in 2025 you'll see that.
You've got Whatnot live auctions. You got the Cameo. Always Red Wine.
That was the thing for a while. I think right now I would just love if people went to my social media, that New York video, if they watched that and shared that. That's the number one thing I want to get across. Hammerstein Ballroom.
That's brilliant. You did the thing where you walked to like MetLife.
That was my idea. Obviously, I'm like, I have this vision. I want to start in my backyard, go like pretend I'm doing my entrance like I did in the backyard wrestling. I want to go to Nassau Coliseum, MetLife, MSG, Hammerstein. We filmed it in one night. It was cold, but it came out like I teared up watching it.
It was brilliant.
It was great.
Yeah, there it is. There's Nassau Coliseum. And when I was watching it, I was like, did this guy do this all on his own? Or is UC and
I mean, financially, yes. Did I have help filming?
No.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Because I don't think most guys are doing this.
They're not.
And if I'm GCW, I'm like, holy shit, you're the best.
Well, they did ask for it for their YouTube channel. I said, no, I paid for this.
Yeah. Look at that shot right there.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, man.
Yeah.
You make being a fan of wrestling fun.
Well, I'm a fan at heart. That's why it comes easy to me, right? Like at the end of the day, of course, I've been wrestling for 20 years, but I'm a fan. I'm someone who is living their dream. Like this is the only thing I ever wanted to do. There was no plan B. Like, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. And I've lived all my dreams. Like, do I have some goals I haven't accomplished? Yes. WWE World Title. Yes, that is the tippy top. I feel like if you're in this business, that should be the tippy top.
Right.
But if it ended today, I am so grateful for everything I accomplished. Even being here right now, it's just to share like our fandom with each other is great, and just to spread that. But you know, we have GCW this Sunday. I know we keep plugging it, but 2025 is going to start that way. Let's see where I am in 2025. AEW, WWE, TNA. Where's Josh Barnett?
Yes.
Are you going to manage me? Are we going to do something together?
Listen, there's been some talk of me managing Josh.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's why you're saying it, but if you look at my Twitter headline,
I know that.
A fan made a picture back in like 2011 of me managing Josh. My gimmick was, well, it's kind of evolved poorly in a way. It's like I'm like the greedy Jew.
Okay,
so I'm holding like a bag of money, but I play this up.
Right,
Helwani knows my gimmick, and he's like a Russian.
Right.
And I'm his manager.
Sure.
And I actually had an idea. I'll tell you about it. But it's crazy that you brought that up. I just want to say.
Hey, or if you want a big rubber, we can make that happen. I know the guy who owns the company.
Bro, that's too much for me to handle. That's too much for me to handle. I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much.
Continued success. It's a lot of fun, and I feel like this is going to be a massive, massive year for you.
I appreciate it.
Good luck this Sunday.
Thank you.
And people need to know this. You were in Maine. You could have went home, and you came here, right?
Well, you know, I
really
respect you too
appreciate
much. I want to be here in studio. We could have done it on Zoom. It's way better this way, right?
I agree. I agree. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
We'll take a quick break. We'll say goodbye to Matt. For now, Dave Feldman was in studio last week. Tremendous story. Listen to that. We'll be back to wrap up the show. I like to do some of my research before the show, and I put your name in YouTube, and I stumble upon a YouTube video that has probably like 600 views. That's it. This is the thumbnail. Do you know this video? Rags to Riches, the incredible story of David Feldman from underground fighting to BKFC by an account called League Alerts. 498 views. This was posted 6 months ago.
Never saw that.
David, I watched this video. This is a video narrated by a young man. He sounds young, about your story. I'm watching this and I'm like, this is total BS. So the first thing I wanted to do was ask you if you knew of that video.
Yeah.
You've never seen the video. And now I have to ask you, and I'm going to like recap the story for you because I had never heard this before. Okay. So this is me doing a recap version of your upbringing.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know how this young man has this. I think he read it in a book. But basically what he told me was, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, about your upbringing, you have a bit of a troubled relationship with your father. Your parents divorced at a young age.
Right.
Are you okay with me bringing this up? Your parents divorced and your mom has a boyfriend.
Right.
And there's a horrible incident that happens to your mother.
Right.
Is this accurate?
Yes.
I'm watching this video, David. This is like not even out of a movie. Like I can't even believe it. Are you uncomfortable with me bringing this up?
I mean, I'm always uncomfortable, but I'm not. It's my story.
People need to know this.
My story.
Are you okay?
I'm not uncomfortable. I get feelings, right?
Sure.
My mom is your
mother,
my idol, my hero, and everything that she went through. When you're going to get to the story, and I'll tell after that.
I'd almost rather you tell the story, but if you want me to recap it okay, so this is what I gathered.
I didn't
Okay, so I'm watching this and I'm like, this has got to be made up because it's so mind-blowing. In short, your parents divorce, and what I gather from the interview or the video is that your mom is dating a guy who is very abusive towards her. Right. And there's a horrible incident where eventually he injures her to the point where she becomes a paraplegic. Quadriplegic, excuse me. And you do not know who this man is. You cannot find him. You have no sort of intel on him until you're working at a bar and you meet a girl who you eventually ask what her last name is, and it's the same last name as the man who injured
Zachary. Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, that alone is absurd. And then she tells you where he lives. You go to his house. You get into an altercation. I apologize for going through so much of it so quickly. And you stop short at maybe shooting him.
Yeah.
And then you clip his Achilles.
Yeah.
Where does this kid even find this information?
I think it was in my Rolling Stone piece.
It's an unbelievable story.
So Ariel, man, my mom got, she got thrown out of a car, run over. The guy took her to a cemetery, banged her head against the cemetery stone, put her back in the car, and dropped her at our house with footprints on her chest, and my mom could never walk again.
I'm so sorry.
It was it's a rough thing, man. But this is a woman that was a quadriplegic that couldn't move her hands or legs, and I have this painting in my office, and she painted it with a paintbrush in her mouth. And a lot of times I want to quit, right? This is hard, and I look at that and I'm like, man, how can I quit? She went through everything, but it was tough, and I finally, it was something that I got so much childhood trauma from that, man.
I can
It messed
imagine.
my whole life up, right? And
How old are you when this happens?
I was 8.
8 years old.
It says 6 in the magazine, but I was 8.
Okay.
And I looked for the guy, and I found him. And one thing led to another, and I said, I clipped his Achilles, and I said, you'll never walk again, MFer, and this we did. Because when I told him who I was, he turned white as a ghost, and I knew it was him, and he was like, and I'm glad I didn't do anything more than that, because I would have been in jail. But things like that happen, and I think that I look back on that, and I think if I had to do it again 10 times, I would have done the same exact thing.
I don't blame you. It's your mother.
Yep.
And your mother, based on what I learned from this, like, was really, through the tough times with your father, she was your rock, right?
Yeah.
You had an incredible relationship with her.
Absolutely.
Why didn't you move with her when your parents divorced?
She wasn't able to. They actually divorced after she was hurt.
Oh, okay.
So my dad divorced her when she was hurt. I mean, they were separated, but they officially got divorced, and she couldn't take care of us.
Is she still alive?
No.
Okay. When did she pass?
16 years ago.
Okay. And is your father still alive?
No, he passed about 7 years ago.
He was the one that got you into fighting.
Yeah.
He trained you and your
Trained
brother.
7 world champions. He was a professional fighter himself, 23 and 2.
All right. Well, that was an unbelievable chat. I don't even want to say a great chat, because it's about a pretty gruesome story, but it must be heard. It must be heard from Dave Feldman, and really appreciate him opening up. His massive show is 12 days away, January the 25th in Philadelphia, BKFC, Knucklemania 5, and there's a big one January the 18th in LA. I think it's still remaining in LA for now, unless something has happened. I've been doing this show for the past 3 hours and 30 minutes, UFC 311. We also have Darren Till versus Anthony Taylor, so a lot to like. And that GCW show at Hammerstein Bible, I can't get enough of this. Look at this. I should have showed Matt my plastics. I mean, I got a pretty good collection myself. I wish I still had those LJNs. What a guy. What a personality. What an infectious aura he has. He's got to go back to WWE or AEW. Just get a consistent thing with no slight towards the indies, but I think he certainly deserves it. I would love to see that happen for him. So anyway, a big stretch coming up of combat sports. Obviously, there's another. I can't stop. By the way, I can't stop looking at this, and the smell is really something. It's really legit. I don't know if you guys, it's like even holding it. I haven't held one of these in so long. It's kind of, oh man, it's crazy how accurate it is. American dream. Also, you know what I love about it? Stands. Perfect. Look at that. None of this like falling over stuff. 1 of 800. Look at that. Also, did you guys know that you can like remove? Oh, look at this. Look at the back. Look at the back. Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, Axe Smash, Sergeant Slaughter, Marty Jannetty, Ric Flair, Andre the Giant. Wow. Macho Man, Hawk, Animal, Barbarian, Warlord, Dusty Rhodes, Magnum TA, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Dynamite Kid, and Davey Boy Smith with Matilda. Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, Ric Flair, Harley Race, Jeff Hardy, the Brooklyn Brawler, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, Macho King. Tremendous. Scratch that figure itch. So good. So good. Loved everything about it. Okay, a couple other things. There was a report last week that Alex Pereira is going to be fighting Alexander Volkov at heavyweight. We refuted that, and the plan is Pereira versus Ankalaev. Interesting tweet from Ankalaev to Pereira, which gave me a little chuckle. You going to do what you've been told. You are an employee. See you soon. Now, I found this to be rich considering the UFC is doing everything in their power to not give Magomed Ankalaev a title shot. And so here he is saying, I'm the corporation. He also tweeted in response to something that Alex Pereira tweeted in December. See you soon, boy. That's the one. It's the one that always had to be done. That rhymed. But it's the right call. Not to say that I wouldn't love to see Alex Pereira at heavyweight against someone like Volkov, but it's not the time. Speaking of Twitter, Corey Anderson tweeting this in the midst of our show. Imagine being the champion of an organization, chilling on the couch, and your wife walks in and tells you, did you see this? Bellator is dead now? And all you can do is shrug your shoulders in confusion because you still haven't heard a thing. LOL. Yeah, that was me. I mean, he works for PFL, but yes, my guess, and I don't have this triple confirmed, my guess is the Bellator champs will become the PFL champs. That's my guess. So I don't think it's all bad getting paid way more than he was in the UFC. So, but yeah, a lot of uncertainty. They should probably come out and explain. There was a rumor that Diego Lopez and Yair Rodriguez are going to be fighting in Mexico City. Definitely a fight that's been discussed, not done by any stretch. And I saw some people, I saw some youngins pushing back as I refuted this, saying we said it was in the works, or the report says that it was in the works. First of all, if I can, and I hope this doesn't come across as like, old guy telling young kids how to act. I came up with in the works. Okay, I'm the one who started in the works. All right, and in the works means it's about to be a done deal. In the works is not discussed. Discussed is discussed. In the works is it's on the verge of being done. In the works is sometimes you do it so a manager or a fighter or a promoter doesn't get mad. In the works means it's all but done. In the works is not idea that's discussed, but we're waiting for something else. And other fights have been discussed as well. That's not in the works. In the works is it's all but done. All right. So get the lingo right if you want to get into that game. And also just get the news right. There's another young man who reported JDM versus Leon Edwards. That one is accurate. And we've already talked about this one. I forget his name. Do you guys know his name? Anyone back there?
Was it Bendaman?
Maybe. Bendaman? Is that his name?
Benny P. Bendaman.
Yes, I saw that one. But yeah, we talked about this on the show. But anyway, that one is legit. That one is definitely legit. So things are getting done. Things are being made. Has anything else happened while we were locked in? I mean, we were really locked in there, Anything else out there?
Nah, man, not that I can think of.
All right. What's going on back there? Everyone's so quiet. Everyone's so quiet.
We want us to say nothing's happened.
Oh, everyone's hey, Pizzi. You're still here?
Oh, yeah, dog fell asleep on me, drooled on my t-shirt a bit, so apologies.
No.
We would have never noticed it if you hadn't pointed it out, man.
So what really happened, Pizzi?
I mean, literally, I don't see anything.
I don't see it either.
Oh, throw it in. Sweet.
Oh, is it top right there?
Yeah, it is, yeah. That's it.
You sipping on a peach vibe back there, Pizzi.
Yeah.
That's right. It's my favorite flavor. Actually, the fantasy vibe would be my favorite flavor.
Fantasy
It's so delicious.
shout out.
This is what I spritz my Negroni with, by the way.
Good call,
Fantasy
man.
vibe.
I love it. By the way, guys, what was that?
I thought it was an
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I thought we were doing the fantasy vibe.
Tomorrow on the program, guys. Tomorrow on the program, we will be joined at the same time by David Morrell and David Benavidez, the top stars who will be going toe-to-toe on the February 1st PBC pay-per-view. I believe their first pay-per-view in quite some time. Looking forward to that. A virtual face-off, if you will. John Wood, the head coach, sort of, for one Merab Dvalishvili, who you did a great story with a couple of months ago. Was that, I believe that was prior to the title fight against Sean O'Malley, right, PT?
Yeah, funnily enough, I reached out to him today about doing another one of those, not knowing that
wow.
to have him on the show. So I'll probably get most of my stuff from that now. That's
no,
perfect.
listen, we all get different things. Also, O'Shea Jackson Jr., who I know is a personal favorite of one New York Ricks. He's got a new movie coming out.
Den of Thieves 2, baby.
We're
there.
2. Have you seen it yet?
What? No, isn't it this Friday?
Nah, it came out last week.
Okay, so I'll be there.
Fan
I'll be there
you
soon.
are.
Wow.
I'll be there soon. Don't worry.
Den of Thieves 2, Pantera.
Yeah. I believe Bisping and Cyril Gane are in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think wasn't Max? I think Max made a brief appearance as like a garbage truck driver, like in the first one. That's in my wheelhouse.
The son of the legendary Ice Cube.
That's right.
Who is also a gigantic pro wrestling fan.
Oh shoot! Producer Jordan showing me Rico in the upcoming one or the last one, Jordan? In Den of Thieves 2, Rico Verhoeven as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. A who's who from the world of combat sports. Wednesday in studio, the often imitated. Did I say that? The often imitated, never duplicated, Action Bronson.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, wow!
Bam Bam Baklava himself.
That's huge.
Yeah,
can't wait.
The Man in the Hat as well. We might bring up the score of the.
The Man in the Hat's in studio.
No, it can't be bothered. I mean,
I thought he was rolling with Action Bronson's entourage now these days. It's come up at the same time.
No,
Yeah,
but
he's rolling with him with the Bo Nix jersey still.
I do want that Bo Nix jersey. I want that same energy. You know.
Yeah, look, we talked about it on the crack. It's he's a bit offended. You know, went out of his way to make this video and then just shot on from a height.
No, listen. He's talking about the 53-man traveling party, blah 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 blah. You know. Look,
It was hilarious.
I thought that video was cute. Did you see the fans saying we? No, not his video. The "We Want Buffalo" video. Did you see that? And the Broncos fans were cheering, "We want Buffalo." Did you guys see that?
No.
Turns out, no, they don't.
No, they don't. Can we at least say? I know you guys like to be, detractors, dissenters, haters. For the uncrowned empire. Can we at least all root for Buffalo? Like, there's almost going to be.
What is this that we like to be detractors and haters? What are you talking about?
Well, I want you guys.
We just enjoy
I was
Lamar
texting
Jackson.
you updates from the game.
Wait. GC, you're really going to root for the Ravens?
No. I was just saying. Throughout the
I know
season,
you're
we do the Lamar MVP thing. Me and Rick think Lamar's the MVP.
No, I know he's.
We
the
just
MVP.
enjoy Lamar Jackson.
I mean,
I love Lamar Jackson.
The numbers
too.
don't lie. I mean, he's the MVP. Like,
No,
this is
I'm not
a
even
debate,
getting.
right?
I have a big wardrobe selection to make.
Please.
The old Von Miller Bills or
Please,
the old
God.
Ravens number 8.
Let me tell you something. I'm putting my foot down. You cannot sit in this chair on Thursday wearing that jersey. It ain't gonna
All right,
happen.
Wednesday it is.
Listen, Wednesday, wear what you want. You can't enter. You can't bring those vibes in here. You cannot bring those vibes in here.
Would you drive into the studio if
I would? I will unplug
You'd flip
YouTube.
out.
I don't know if people can see it, but like you've got the Bills jersey draped over the chair,
right here.
the Helwani Show Bills jersey. Are you driving into the studio to correct it if Lamar Jackson jersey got draped over it? On
it got draped over it.
Yeah, instead of the Bills, it's Lamar Jackson jersey.
Bro, I would unplug YouTube. I would just unplug it for the world.
It's all going down.
Shut down.
It's almost like becomes a religious thing at
It
this
does.
stage for Ariel. I noticed that he fully like, I mean, he's always been a Buffalo Bills fan his whole life, as we know, and he's stays in lockstep with them throughout the season. But when it gets to playoff time, I know he's cranked it up a few notches when I just get sent like 18 different plays from over the years of Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. And
Watch
I'm
this
like,
one.
holy
Watch
shit.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, last night I
is
sent him
locked in.
Taron Johnson, pick 6, 101 yards against the Ravens in the height of the pandemic when everything was dark and depressing. 2021 ran it back 101 freaking yards to the house. And that's the difference, by the way, between Sunday's game, 6:30, which I have some bad memories about that 6:30 Sunday game. I'm not going to lie.
Dark and old Sunday.
We keep getting that Sunday 6:30, and we always
before-
losing it.
Before a post pay-per-view Monday.
Oh, stop it.
Rough.
By the way,
rough.
it could be incredible or it could be awful on
Yes.
Monday.
I actually was in the gym this morning, and they, no big deal in the gym this morning.
Yeah.
But they were playing the Oilers Bills 32-point comeback. It was great.
From back in the day, 1993.
Yeah,
One of the
way
all-time
back
great.
in the day. It
Wow,
was
they
like-
played the whole game.
Not the whole game. It was just like a long highlight package. It was like the most heartbreaking wild card losses in NFL history, and that was number 1.
What a game. I'll never forget it. I was at my friend Ryan Perlman's house in the 5th grade. In any event, everyone keeps talking about that first game. What was it like? I think week 3 or 4. They whooped our ass, laid the smack
31-10.
down, killed us. We were
31-10.
missing
Pizzi with the score. Pizzi with the score, ready to go.
Multiple key members of our team were not playing, including the great Matt Milano. Didn't have Amari Cooper. We weren't at home.
I was gonna say in Baltimore that time.
Weren't at home. And then the big thing is, I hope Josh doesn't win the MVP, and I hope he knows he's not winning the MVP because he is going to have a chip on his shoulder the size of Western New York. All right, he is going to have a chip on his shoulder to prove that he is the man.
I don't think he'll find out though.
But they
No,
don't
he
find out,
knows
like, 2
because they
weeks,
said
no?
the All-Pro votes seem to indicate that it's going to Lamar. That's the talk.
Wow,
That's the talk.
That's terrible.
Oh no.
What are you talking about? That's the right call.
Everyone is saying that it's fait accompli. The All-Pro votes are very much in Lamar's favor. He got like, I don't know, 100 more or some bullshit like that. Anyway, I hope. I don't care about that. And Josh shouldn't either. He's the man. He's beloved. And it all matters if he gets that other ring. And get you know what? Get that Super Bowl MVP. Who cares about the regular season MVP? Get that Super Bowl MVP in February. I praise to God because honestly, I could see it now. If we beat them on Sunday, then we'll go to Arrowhead or whatever the hell it's called, and then we'll see you all in New Orleans.
Wow, yeah.
Texans
And
beat
you
the Chiefs.
have to go if they're there.
I don't know if I want to go.
No, you go.
No, I don't know.
Oh, you gotta go.
You
bro.
gotta go.
You gotta go.
I want to be there with my kids. I want to be there
Take your
on my
kids.
couch. Oh my God.
there.
That's a stressful.
You know what?
yeah,
Get the tickets. Me
You
and
could get
GC
like
will
a
go.
buy 3
Fine.
get 1 free at some point.
Last week, Josh moved from -500 to win MVP to +190. Wow.
Yeah, on Friday, everyone was like sending out condolences because I guess.
Because he won All Pro, I guess.
Yeah, and because he had more votes or something, I don't know. They seem to say that was the indicator. What about Big
I think
Daddy
it was
Mark?
GC and Nick talking about it on the show. I think that's what swayed a lot of the voters. I think they were on the
Nick?
edge of their
Who the
seats.
fuck is
Yeah,
Nick?
who is Nick?
Yeah, who the fuck
So did I
is
say
we?
Nick? It's like
Who the fuck
It's
is
like-
we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's late
Who the
over
fuck
there.
is
It's
we?
late over there.
gonna keep calling him Nick now.
No,
Hey,
I
New
don't
York.
like this.
Can I just say I hate the
New
Monday
York,
night, I
Nick.
hate Monday night playoff game.
Yeah.
I can't wait for
Super
this.
wild card weekend.
It's
I can't believe you're staying up for it, Pizza.
Of course, I'm staying up for it.
Madman.
I mean, of course
It's
it
gonna be
is.
class.
It is a playoff
Vikings and
game,
Rams.
and it's actually a great matchup. But I just think the playoffs should be Saturday, Sunday. That's the way it's always been. I don't like change, and yeah, I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very nervous.
Yeah, it's
like
gonna be
that.
it's gonna be a
Like
really
that.
good game. It's gonna be incredible. Saturday night too. Sunday night.
Sunday night, Saturday night. I was worried about Saturday night, by the way, because that would have been
Oof.
at the same time as
Oof.
311.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that that's not the case. I think the one at the same time as 311 is Washington against Detroit. Yeah, Texans Chiefs at 4:30, Washington Detroit, and then it's 3:00. The winner of today's game against the Eagles, and then the big one, the main event. One last thing before we go. I think we've gone to all the stuff that's happened over the past few days. A lot has happened. An update on the Vince McMahon story. This from Fox News. Former WWE CEO Vince McMahon's Securities and Exchange Commission reached settlement after a lengthy probe. Vince McMahon, who co-founded and previously served as the CEO of WWE, and the SEC have reached a settlement following a years-long probe over undisclosed settlements. The federal investigation was launched to determine whether McMahon disclosed to the company's board and others that he signed 2 settlement agreements worth more than $10 million with 2 women in order for them not to reveal potential claims against himself and WWE. The SEC and McMahon, without admitting or denying its findings, agreed to cease and desist from violating certain provisions, pay a $400,000 civil penalty, and reimburse WWE approximately $1.3 million. Now, Vince afterwards took to Twitter, as they say, and posted a rare statement saying the case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There's been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. In the end, there was never anything more to this than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put all this behind me. And then he got hit with the dastardly community notes, which read, Vince McMahon settled with the SEC without admitting/denying its findings. This was exclusively about the hush money charges. Janelle Grant's civil suit will go forward and use these findings as evidence according to her attorney. So, not quite out of the woods But there you have it. Did I miss anything else? What about that Dominick Cruz, by the way?
Yeah.
It's like you're sitting in the chair when you're talking to him, right?
Like a therapist.
Oh, that.
Yeah, it's like I feel like the lights are very bright.
Broke you down very quickly. I mean,
He's like, you can just call me,
seconds
man.
in.
Yeah, well,
We don't have to do
the
this,
end.
We don't have to do all of this.
He's like, how about you just call me, man?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he's always been kind of like reflective and very contemplative, and then, now you're getting right as he's about to transition to the post
I love it.
career. He's very thoughtful in his answers and always has been.
I love talking to him.
Can't wait for the YouTube channel to drop.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would suggest to him to honestly start now. No need to wait, right?
Maybe he feels like he can't lock in on the thing that is in front of him, if he does that. Distracted.
Perhaps, but he's at his height now. He's about to fight. I would launch it before the fight. Do some vlogs or something like that.
Want to know my answer? Go to bjpenn.com.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Throwback.
Those were the days. Remember that? He beats Jens Pulver. Joe asks him a question. I think BJ Penn doesn't like me. I've seen some stuff, but I don't know.
What stuff?
I don't know. It's a weird time.
Get into it.
It's a weird time to be alive. In any event, God bless you all. We'll be back tomorrow. We've done it all. We've said it all. We've talked to them all today. Still can't believe this. This is, I don't know if you guys fully understand just how happy this makes me. He's just a common man doing what every can. You guys know his entrance? No. Dusty Rhodes. His real name, guys, was Virgil Runnels.
Not as catchy.
He was then known as Dusty Rhodes. When the $1 Million Man had a sort of assistant / servant, if you will, Vince McMahon, who at the time was in a feud with Dusty Rhodes, named that guy Virgil as a shot at Dusty Rhodes. When that guy left WWE and went to WCW, WCW named him Vincent as a shot to Vince McMahon. Do you understand?
Wow.
When Dusty Rhodes came back to WWE, they had him wear trunks with with yellow polka dots, and he came out to that song. He's just a common man doing what a new American dream. That's why Cody Rhodes is known as the American Nightmare.
Oh.
Because his dad was the American Dream.
Oh.
Yes. And they saddled him with the black tights and yellow polka dots to embarrass him and to kind of diminish him. And he was so lovable and so over that he got it over. It's a great story. It's a great story. Thank you for humoring me there, Pizzi. I appreciate you very much. Appreciate everyone who stopped by. Dominick Cruz, Shakur Stevenson, Matt Cardona, and Cesar Almeida. Back tomorrow with a brand new program. For now, we thank you. We thank them. Back on Tuesday, same time. Let's still say peace.